Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. It is an absolute privilege and pleasure to just be hanging out with you guys and seeing what is up. And as always, my wonderful, amazing co-host who is just absolutely fantastic in every way, and our very own Prince of Earth, Mr. Lethal Lightning. How you doing, sir?
I am fan-jolly-tastic. This is going to be a good one. So this is my favorite arc in all of Sailor Moon, and we're right at the finale, like the big ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to say something at the end that's going to piss off a lot of people.
Da, da, da. Nothing like a hot take on
Yep.
the final manga. So to clear up any confusion, just because this is the final manga does not mean that this will be our final Sailor Moon stream.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a whole lot of other Sailor Moon to talk about. And we haven't decided yet if we're going to do the movies and then the anime, or if we're going to do the anime and then the movies, and then compare and contrast and what have you. We've got years worth of Sailor Moon. So
And we got the new movie coming out next year.
And we have the new movie. It's going to be great. And I think it's coming out in 3 parts. So.
Oh, is it 3? I thought it was 2. Oh, well, 3 parts are better.
Yep.
3 makes sense. There's a lot.
Yes, there's a ton that happens. So we are very excited to go through. This is the final manga. And it's really fitting that Saturn was our theme lady for this month's stream, because we are at an end. We're going into a new beginning, but we are at an end. So it's very exciting, and to sort of help make an even more emphasis on just how amazing this series is and what it means to folks and fans and stuff like that, and to prove that Lethal really is the Prince of Earth, he managed to snag someone for us. So Lethal,
yep,
do you
I got the fishing rod out, put a little bit of bait, took the boat out, threw it, got the bite, reeled it in,
and he was able to snag us, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the redub and Crystal Sailor Jupiter herself, Miss Amanda C. Miller. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Trying so hard not to fangirl like a 12-year-old right now is what I'm doing.
Don't fangirl. I always tell people, I'm like, I'm a weirdo with a cool job. Like, don't put me on a pedestal. I'm just a person who does.
That makes me put you on a higher pedestal.
Oh,
so humble. So humble.
Ah.
But it's just thank you. Thank you. So yeah, Lethal, thank you for talking to her and getting her to come on. But Amanda, thank you for saying yes.
It was actually Amanda's idea.
It was meant. See,
I told her that we do this, and Amanda was like, "Where the fuck am I?"
Yeah, he's like, "We do a Sailor Moon stream." I was like, "I'm sorry, what? you want to reconsider that?"
Like, I'm not there. So was it really a Sailor Moon stream?
Pretty much. But no, thank you, Amanda. Both me and Lady G, since the start of doing this, we've both been preaching that Jupiter is the best of the inners.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have definitive proof.
I mean, I'm not like biased or anything, but I mean, she can cook. She is like the big sister. She takes care of everybody. She'll also be the protective big sister, where she'll freaking throw a guy who's messing with you. Like, I just feel like she's got lightning powers. I don't really know what would be wrong with her.
Yep. It's kind of
except that she's hung up on her ex. That's all.
Well,
we can work through that.
Yeah, therapy.
So, all right. So Lethal, oh gosh, we have so much that we want to talk about, and I swear we will get to the manga. But so Lethal and I have talked about this before, and so you know how it's much more prevalent in the manga, not so much in the anime, even in the subs or the dubs. Really, it's not really in either one. But you know how when he was Prince Darien, sorry, I know, I love that name, so we're going to stick with when he was Prince Darien of the Earth Kingdom, and she was still Princess Serenity of the Moon Kingdom, before Beryl went all homicidal, and Queen Serenity went absolute OG. He hooked up he hooked up his knights with the other Sailor Scouts. And I don't know about you, but I would love to see that movie or that subplot, just like, I don't know, his 4 knights and those Sailor Scouts, like,
my pitch was it's
going
like
out.
a Hangover style.
No.
They all take the silver crystal because they need to get away from the women for a weekend. They go out to some intergalactic casino and it just goes horribly wrong.
They lose it.
Yeah.
You're like, we gotta find it. What did we do last night?
And
Oh
then,
man.
And then, of course,
it's in Mike Tyson's Tiger or something. They're
Yes.
like, oh fuck.
And then you've got Venus is the one calling them, being like, "Where are you guys? Like, the union ceremony starts in 6 hours. We'll be there."
Sorry, we're going through a tunnel. Break it up.
Shenanigans.
But yeah, no. As Lethal likes to point out, Darian is the ultimate Chad and upholder of the bro code, because he got himself the Moon Princess, so he hooked all his boys up with princesses of their own. Because you are technically a princess.
Yes.
Right.
That was something I always liked in the manga that I feel like they didn't touch on as much in the anime, but then they did in Crystal. But then I'm sure you'll go over it when you talk about Crystal, but they botched that. They botched that shit. But yeah, I was like, Jupiter's finally gonna get herself a boyfriend. She finally gonna get herself a man.
If anyone deserves one, it's definitely her.
Yes, and like Nephrite. Okay.
I'm all right with
saying.
it.
Just like big,
just saying.
Tall, dark, and handsome with that well-conditioned hair. Like,
yeah. Can we talk about the fact that the men in most anime, but specifically Sailor Moon, have like the most gorgeous hair in existence? And I just need to know what product they use. Because like, it would be my hair needs it. Like, it's perfect. It doesn't go anywhere. And then when they battle, like, even when their hair gets fried, it still looks good.
They probably just have like way too much gel though, and actually isn't fun to touch. Just like really crunchy, like Dragon Ball Z hair.
Oh my god, Dragon Ball Z hair. Lord have mercy. But so we will go ahead and I'll bring it up. So we're gonna get into the manga a little bit, but Amanda, could you maybe share with everybody sort of how you got into voice acting, and like, was it always something you wanted to do? Was it something like with oh gosh, now I can't think of his name. But so was it something you fell into, something you wanted to do? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I mean, I always liked performing, but I was always really shy, and I'd always tell my parents, like, I'm going to perform for you, but turn around and don't look at me. And they're like, how are you going to be a performer if people don't see you? And I always loved cartoons, and I would rewatch episodes so many times that I would start to be able to like recognize voices. So I always kind of knew it was a job. I guess I never connected that I could do it, but I was like, oh yeah, the voice of Dexter from Dexter's Lab sounds like Chucky from Rugrats. And then I'd look at the credits and be like, oh, it is. Like, so I don't know, the weird kid. But then so it was like a fun guessing game for me. But then I did theater in high school, and then I majored in it in college. And I took a voiceover class called Adventures in Voice Acting, which is still a class, and you can take it, and it's actually online now, so you can take it remotely. And it's a class that teaches you like dubbing and anime stuff, which is not a lot of classes teach that. So if it's something you're looking to get into, check out Adventures in Voice Acting. But they traveled to my town in Maryland where I lived at the time, and it was taught by Tony Oliver, who was the voice of Rick Hunter in Robotech. He was also he's also the guy who brought Power Rangers over to the US. Mm-hmm. So you're saying it's not just like some random TikTokers who are giving you acting points? No, it's like people in the industry. And so and he's a director, and he casts stuff too. So he was like, hey, like, you're really good at this. Like, you have a future in this business, which felt very Hollywood, you know, like, ooh, you got a future in this business, kid. But after college, I went to LA, and I got an internship at a voiceover studio that was kind of connected to the Adventures in Voice Acting classes. So they kind of already knew of me because Tony had told them about me. Mm-hmm. And then they just kind of let me, you know, I'd pour their coffee and stuff, but they'd throw me in the background of some stuff to do, like, do some walla, which is what we call it. It's like extra work or background work, where basically you're like the people in a crowd, or you're the girls in the hallway, and you'll be talking and just improvising lines to yourself, or maybe sometimes you're in a group and you're improvising lines to each other, and then you're just the background noise. Then eventually they were like, oh, she doesn't suck. Let's give her like little one-line parts here and there. And then they let me actually audition for like real parts. And then I started booking things slowly, surely, and then got an agent after a couple years. And then, it just kind of over the past 12 years grew from there.
Wow, that's amazing. That's actually like truly, truly incredible. It sounds like you worked really, really hard, because I'm sure that the little background voices and the one-liners weren't exactly like, you weren't rolling in dough or anything. So
no, that stuff they're kind of having us do for free. Like technically you're supposed to pay people for that, but I was an intern, so they're like, whatever.
Unpaid internships, you gotta love them.
Yep. And especially technically it was illegal because it was after college. And you're not supposed to have an unpaid internship if you're not getting college credit. But I was like, look, I want to get into this industry, so just be chill. But a really incredible thing was that I grew up watching Sailor Moon when I was a kid. So I like watched it back in the 90s, and Sailor Jupiter was my favorite character. Like when
snap.
Yes.
Yeah, when I would play with my friends in the backyard, I would always be running around being like, Jupiter, thunderclap, zap, and all that stuff. And so I watched the original 90s dub, and I loved it. And the music especially. Oh my gosh, I still miss the music. I want to do covers of it. I think I might do a cover of Rainy Day Man or something.
Oh my god, yes, do it. I love Rainy Day Man. I sing that all the time. It's so good.
The whole like the Luna Rock CD and like was that the second one? I think and then the first one. They were all so good. Like Carry On, Power of Love.
Yes. Yes.
And the transformation music, like everything actually kind of, I felt like this might be blasphemy. I felt like the music in the 90s dub was kind of better than the original Japanese, because that was more like do 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 do.
Yeah.
More whimsical, yes.
More whimsical, more kind of like disco almost. Like, like you're rollerblading around in like a flowy outfit. Whereas like this is like, I don't know, we're like the 90s like guitar, and they had like it's time for battle, let's go kind of music.
Yes. It very much, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're totally fine. I nerd out the same way, so it's totally cool. I completely agree. Like, as much as I love my subs, I am not gonna lie, the music alone, especially in the R movie, like I can't not watch it in English and with the English music, because it's so good. It is Power of Love is my favorite song. It's on like, I have it on a cassette tape. I have it on like 4 CDs, and I used to own a Zune. It was on there too. But now it's just downloaded on my phone, and I will literally work out to it.
That's a great song, especially if you're like running or doing something like elliptical. It's like you're like, yeah, let's go. Power of love. I gotta believe.
Gotta believe myself. I love myself.
But one of the craziest things for me was like 20 years later, or 25, or however many years, I had no idea that they were going to be redubbing the classic series I grew up watching. I had heard that Crystal was going to be coming out, but we had assumed it was going to be done in Dallas. So I was in LA at the time. So we had heard Funimation got the rights to it. So I was like, oh, that'll be really cool for them. And like, this is like very hippy dippy, but like, I don't know, it happened. So you tell me why it happened. But I had 3 dreams in the year leading up to booking the role that I was auditioning for Sailor Moon. And I just remember being like, oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, like, but yeah, the show's already done. It's from 20 years ago, but that would have been cool. And then the third dream I had was the morning I woke up and I had the audition in my inbox. And then I was like, what is this? And it said, we're auditioning for a top secret show that we can't name right now, but here are the audition sides, which is like the little PDF attachments that have each of the characters and your audition lines and stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't really hide it very well, because they're like, it's a top secret show, but then the audition side said Sailor Moon, Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Mercury, like, Queen Beryl, Luna, and I was like, wait, what? Like,
I wonder what the show could be.
I mean, it could have been code. That's the thing. Is sometimes they'll do stuff like that, but I'm like, this is very like specific. Like, we're even doing like Jupiter Oak Evolution, like the call outs and everything. So like, I recorded my auditions. I auditioned for all 5 of the main girls, and then Queen Beryl and Luna, and then I submitted them.
Auditioned for Beryl as well.
Yeah, like they sent them. I'm like, I'll audition for whatever. I just want to be in it. And I sent it off, and I didn't expect anything, because at the time I wasn't really, I'd done some anime, but I wasn't like a lead in anything yet. And I was like, oh, well, that'll be cool. But for whoever gets that. And then like a couple months later, like, because I assumed I didn't get it, because usually it doesn't take a couple months, but I guess it did. And they were like, hey, if there was to be an announcement of some sort at Anime Expo this year, would you be available? And I was like, yes, if there was an announcement. And he's like, cool, like the casting director. And they just disappeared for another 2 weeks. I was like, what did that mean? Did it mean I had the part, or did it mean like they were still figuring out? Like, was it like between me and a couple people? And then finally he was like, oh, congratulations, you're in the cast of Sailor Moon. And they gave me the information about how we were going to premiere at Anime Expo and they were going to announce us as the cast. But he still didn't tell me who I was. So the whole time I'm like, am I like in the main cast? Am I like Molly or Naru? You know, am I a tennis shoe monster? Like, who am I?
Tennis shoe monster.
Yeah, just like random tennis shoe monster number 3.
Right.
So
screaming extra in background number 6.
Yep. It's like, you're in the cast technically. So I figured like the odds of me booking my favorite character, like it just none of it, like I was like, I'm not banking on it. But then finally, it happened. They were like, oh yeah, you're the voice of Sailor Jupiter. And I was just like, what are the odds? Like, if you had told young Amanda running around in her backyard that would happen, I'd be like, I'd also freak out because there's a time traveler in front of me, so that would also be a little bit.
Rini shows up and holds a gun to your head.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what's happening?
What is happening?
This pink chick.
You just fell out of a cloud, little girl.
Did you ever have like a favorite arc or like storyline in Sailor Moon?
Yeah, I mean, I think S is probably my favorite season because I love those like dark. I like dark things, but I also like the moral conundrum of like
with Saturn.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the whole thing where people are like, if you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler before he did anything, like, would you?
Yeah,
So it's that kind of same thing of like, yeah, this person could destroy a lot of people, or there could be a chance for redemption. Like, I loved that kind of stuff. I feel like the show is at its best when it has that element to it. Yeah, I liked that one. I'm trying to think of any other like arcs in particular that like really. I mean, the first one for me, I remember the first time I realized that the end of season 1 was actually a 2-part episode in Japan. And it was much more dramatic and everybody eats it. And I was like, oh. So like when I saw it, I'm like, yes, this arc, whatever the whole like Moon Kingdom, like Silver Millennium memories coming back thing. Yes, all of that.
Yeah. Lethal, like we talked about that actually quite a bit when you get the difference between the Japanese anime and the American anime, where in America they made Uranus and Neptune cousins.
To be fair, that technically was the Canadian dub. I'm just saying. I mean, I guess they're part of North America, but just saying.
True. Okay, the Canadians, the Canadians.
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada. Oh, Canada.
That was always weird because it came across as a lot more incest. Like even in like the 90s, you'd see like how close they were, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's my cousin." I'm like, cousins don't hang out like that, man.
Yeah, they don't blush and like kind of hold hands like that, like really like soft, tender kind of.
Yeah, not unless it's Alabama.
Yeah.
There's like parts where like I swear Uranus's tongue is like right next to Neptune's ear, and you're telling me they're cousins.
Yeah, they're cousins. They give each other tongue baths. That's actually how family members meet each other. You wouldn't know because I'm just kidding. I was like, your family abandoned you to be raised by wolves, Lethal, in the Australian outback.
This is true. This is why I grew up resenting. Anyway, that's another story.
So that was one big change. And then that's why Sailor Stars this last arc never got released in North. It didn't even get released in Canada. Like there's no dub for dub for it. You can only find it in subs because
there wasn't a dub for it. We dubbed
it. Yes. Okay. I'm going back to like 90s.
Oh, okay. So we're still time traveling. I didn't realize.
Yes, we're still time traveling. Okay. So there's no dub for Sailor Stars or season 5 or however you want to say it. And everybody's like, I myself, because I was like 11, 12, I was like, why? Where is it? Like, if there's another season, if there's another series, right? I was like, I want to watch it. And then I remember being really confused because I was like, why can't they just be, because Tuxedo Mask is a guy who turns into Tuxedo Mask, so like why can't the Sailor Stars be guys who just wear suits? You know what I mean? I was like, why can't they be dudes? Or like I was like trying to figure out a way that they could have dubbed it, but I don't know. I guess maybe they were like, no, it's too much work to draw a suit on them instead of like just using what's already there. Which, hey, it's fine. But I do remember the first time I watched it, I got really confused. And I was like, so they're guys that turn into girls, or are they always girls? Because like you think of Uranus, who is always in like suits and very masculine presenting and stuff like that. So it's like, so are they just pretending to be guys like Uranus likes to do? Because Lethal likes to point out that Uranus straight up tongued Serena to like screw with her head. And he's like, just saying, Uranus has basically, made that move a couple times to try and, because it was Neptune did it to Tuxedo Mask, and then Uranus did it to Sailor Moon, right? Lethal?
Yep.
Okay. So very interesting.
Didn't they also kind of? I heard that the creator of the show was pissed when she saw the anime. She's like, "What did you guys do?" Because her rule was that only women could be Sailor Scouts, and so she's like, in the manga they were just cross dressing, but they were women the whole time. But then the anime they made it more complicated. Where they're like, "No, they have a dick, and then they lose their dick. They have a magical vagine."
Yep, that's exactly what happens. I recently rewatched the last season for this, and that's exactly what it is. They're dudes. They're at school with them, and they're on like sports teams in the dude teams, and then when they transform, they're chicks.
And it's like, that's why I was so confused, like, because I watched the anime first. I got my hands on the anime first, and then I got the final manga, and I was like, okay, so they are actually just chicks. But yeah, like when they did the anime, they literally made them dudes.
Even like when they're boys, they're playing soccer or whatever, he'll like hurt his leg and he'll be like, like a dude. But when they transform and they get attacked, they like make like yell screams.
Yep.
Yep.
So when you guys dubbed it, Amanda, was it like, I don't know how to ask this question.
Is it racist?
Is it right? No,
I think it's closer to sexist at this stage.
Yeah, at this stage. But like, I guess because I'm not really sure. Like, I know what I'm trying to ask. I'm just not sure how I can ask it. I guess since you don't have like, okay, this is how I'll ask it. Was it less stressful to dub this portion than the previous series? Like OG through Super S, because you didn't have sort of that 90s dub that a lot of people love? Or was it more stressful because you're literally like, this is the first dub, so if you screw this up, like everybody's gonna hate you kind of thing?
That's a good question. I mean, I definitely think it helped that I think it helped set our dub apart, because up till then people are like, you're just trying to replace them, whereas here it was kind of like, well, we're also bringing you content. Like, we did all the episodes, even the ones that they cut. It's the whole reason was that the creator was like, I want a version, if you're gonna dub our stuff, we want a version that's like pure to what we made in Japan. So so our version is the unedited, basically. So yeah, we did all that was cool to be like the forbidden season, because I remember as a kid I also was like, there's a season and there's lost episodes, and they cut this, like they cut them dying, and they just said, they got kidnapped by the Negaverse, they're fine though, don't worry about them,
right?
Versus these horrible deaths. They
went to the farm. Lethal and I talked about this, like if they had put the stuff that this would not have been on Toonami. This would have been on Adult Swim if they had left it. If they had left it the way that it was, it would have 100% been on Adult Swim.
But to be fair, I did read that in Japan, even in Japan, parents were like calling the TV networks when those episodes aired at the end of season 1. They're like, my kid is traumatized. Because if you think about it, Sailor Moon's mostly goofy. Yeah. And then when it gets dark, it gets real dark. Like, it's like goofy, quick. Goofy. And then you'll have like an episode like, oh my God, one of the saddest episodes for me was in, I believe it was R with Sapphire. with like Sapphire's death, and it was like,
oh yeah, that was rough.
and like the brothers, and it's just like, oh, like that's okay. That's one of the arcs that I really liked. I was forgetting about. I knew there was one in R that I liked, but yeah, that kind of stuff where it's like, we're happy. Oh, we've got like this monster that turns you into donuts, and then the next episode's like, all of my friends are dead.
See, they do that in pretty much every season, but in this one, in the last one, it amplifies to the power of 99 because it gets to the last 5 episodes and it's a different show. It's a different show in the last 5 episodes. Earth's constantly blowing up. All her friends are getting killed right in front of her. She gets the shit kicked out of her and thrown away. And then like she's walking around and there's like buildings blowing up next to her. It's just turned into Terminator all of a sudden. It's the end of the world. And every plan they have to take down Galaxia just goes, yeah, that doesn't work. No.
Right.
Try again. And she's like, oh, I have a plan. We're going to find the super sailor from the fabled story. And she's just like, yeah, that was me. Like, that's me you're talking about. I did that. And they're just like, fuck. Like constantly.
It's like, yeah, sorry.
You're like, whoops, that didn't work. All right, what else can we do? And I think something that Lethal points out, because at the end of every season, really, all of the Sailor Scouts get this power up. Pretty much when it comes, like they'll get it closer toward the end of whatever series they're in. But Tuxedo Mask. So here is my thing. I think that he was actually probably incredibly powerful, and like the Sailor Scouts finally caught up to him and like barely surpassed him, and then he got the golden crystal, and now I have a feeling that he can probably just stomp them into the ground again, because he seemed like, with the exception of the fact that he kind of
hello,
they really sort of did I cut out?
Yeah.
Okay. Even, like he kind of vanishes in some of the series, but for the most part, like he'll show up in the nick of time, throw his rose, and like distract the enemy, and he's helping the Sailor Scouts sort of like train and get better. And then once they don't need him anymore, all of a sudden he's like pulling out swords and crystals of his own and like smashing bad guys in dreamscapes.
And it's like, bro, you could have done this the whole time,
right?
Seriously. I have some sketches I want to do, some Sailor Moon related ones, and one of them is kind of in line with that. Not necessarily Tuxedo Mask, but making fun of how Sailor Moon, each time it's like, bro, your friends are getting the shit kicked out of them, and then you're sitting here, and then you always end it with your little power of friendship stick, and it's like, I'm sorry, could you have just done that from the start? Like, clearly our little attacks weren't going to do anything, apparently, even though fire and lightning probably are more powerful than love, but okay. But just like the idea that she's like, yeah,
I don't know, Venus's love chain whip is that does some damage, I'll tell you what.
Well, yeah,
I always thought though is when they meet Uranus and Neptune, they should have been like, well, where the fuck were you for the past 2 seasons?
Right, they're like, we were watching, and it's like, yeah. Cool. Well,
could have used your help when we're all getting fucking bashed by my psychotic daughter when she went evil.
Yeah,
that
right?
Would have been great.
Oh my god. And so like, oh, Amanda, I don't know. So as we've established, if you've listened to especially Lethal at all, but if you've heard any of our previous streams and stuff that we've talked about with you, we hate Chibiusa on this channel, like with the passion that burns with the fire of 1,000 suns.
Yeah.
She is single-handedly responsible for Crystal Tokyo going to shit. Like literally.
She had like a temper tantrum, right? She like stole the crystal? She's like, I want to be like mommy.
She's like, because at the anime, this is where in the anime I prefer what they did with her, because in the manga it's, well, she's 1,000 years old, but she's gonna act like a 6-year-old. Right. There were the things like it would bounce back and forth, and they never really picked a lane until Lethal Super S, or like the end of S, when they finally started.
End of S, I'd say.
Yeah. Started treating her like a little kid. But in the anime, they just went straight with little kid, not that this is a 1,000-year-old being who is from the future and has all of this knowledge and wisdom. But my irritation, one, because she didn't want to wait for her destiny. Because, oh no, mom and dad are going to live for... How terrible. You don't have to watch your parents die and bury them and go through the grief of losing them. And that sounds like a terrible existence. So let's throw a giant temper tantrum, steal the silver crystal, and absolutely destroy civilization and Crystal Tokyo because you want what your mommy has. Like,
yeah, and like we talked about before the stream, just like the whole like literally what her mommy has. She's like, I want daddy too. It's like, okay, let's. But they should have put her into some sort of like kids counseling or something after that. Like, hey, maybe don't turn dark and try to bone your dad.
Yeah,
it might not be the healthiest coping mechanism.
She is so fucked up that her parents from the future sent her back to the past to get rid of her. And this is another thing we talked about. There's so many times where in the past, because she's jealous of her mum being with her dad, because that's a thing, that she'll go out of her way to cock block them. And it's like, you do realize if you do that, you won't exist. You should be like putting holes in condoms and spiking their drinks or something, like, because you kind of need them to.
that sounds like a reverse Back to the Future. Or not even reverse, I guess. It's just that, she's like, I need to be born. So she's like, putting some music on, like, when they're like out on a date, she starts playing like Careless Whisper or something.
There you go.
Like,
but nope. Instead, she's gonna try and kill her mom and bang her dad, and then she's gonna get over her dad really quickly when a horse pays attention to her.
To be fair, have you seen the size of a horse? I don't know if this is that kind of stream, but speaking of that, Brian in the chat is referencing on the Weebs and Waifu stream. I get really raunchy, and so like he was asking like if I'll go dark after 10 because the rule was on the other stream after 10 I'm allowed to be a pervert. So that's why he started writing fan fiction for us because there's some dirty fan fiction about Ivan that I revealed to the chat. In that somebody wrote a couple years ago, so now it's our thing on the.
My rule is you can't be a pervert till after 6:30 a.m. and it's currently 11:45 in the afternoon.
Okay, great.
So you're set.
Oh man! Well, while we're staring at the chat, D-Day Direwolf for $5 says just got here. Fave is Uranus, LOL, because of her attack being most DBZ like. And her design and Crystal and Eternal. It is the most DBZ like, but Sailor Moon is superior to DBZ in every single way.
Tell you what, after that last movie, I won't get into it, but I saw their most recent movie, and as a diehard Gohan and Cell fan, I did not like it.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyway. Did you have a favorite villain as well?
Mamoru. No, I'm just kidding. No, the college guy who maxed on high school girls.
In Lethal's book, that makes him the ultimate of Chads.
He's like, don't worry about it. I know you're 14 and I'm technically over 18, but like, we're gonna be married in the future. There's nothing weird about this. We have a kid.
Hey, over there, it's cool. Who are we to judge?
Yeah. Is it? Is it cool in Japan?
I mean, they prefer and I'm sure you know this, Amanda, but anybody in the chat who's not aware, high school is a much bigger deal in Japan than it is in America. I don't really know if high school is a huge deal in Australia, but like in Japan, you have to take entrance exams to get into certain high schools. So, if you get into like the general high school, I'm not going to say like you're not bringing shame on your house, but like basically.
But you do take the short bus to school, is what
you do take the short bus. Yeah, exactly. But
saying you're a fucking idiot over there if you don't.
Pretty much, because like the high school that's in, and they even put it a little bit in Sailor Moon, where they're like, we have to study for these high school entrance exams. Like this is our future on the line, because in Japan you start doing career specific curriculum in high school. So like they're already gearing you towards an accountant or a trade or a lawyer or something like that in high school. So if you want to get into like the performing arts in Japan, that starts in like junior high. And then you have to it's almost like Juilliard, where you have to compete to get in. You have to compete to get into these different like acting schools or dance or painting or whatever it may be. So it always
So they have no fun, but they're still 14. No?
Yes. Well, let's not say they treat age a little bit differently over there. Like basically when you're in high school, they kind of see you as an adult.
Is this true or is this our guess? I'm curious what the age of consent is in Japan.
Oh, no, age of consent is 16 in Japan.
Okay.
But
well, technically, I guess he didn't bone her until afterwards. I guess it's implied in the manga but it was like later in the manga.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was 16.
He did it on her 16th birthday. He's like, blow out them candles, baby.
In the first volume,
now.
Not yet, she isn't. In the first volume, she passes out on his bed, and then he's all like, "Nope, not doing it." However, the other person in the second volume who's obsessed with her, creepy stalker obsessed. I forget his name. Sapphire's brother. He.
Oh God, what was his name?
He's the one that kidnaps her.
No.
Oh yeah,
undresses
Prince Diamond.
Prince Diamond.
Yes,
yep.
Diamond.
Kidnaps her, undresses her, and then dresses her up in a dress that he wants her to wear while she's knocked out.
Yeah, of all the villains,
forces him to kiss her.
Yeah. Of all the villains in every series, he is the worst just for doing that. Like,
but he was so sexy to me. That probably explains a lot about my dating life, I guess. He was very problematic men. Also, I'm pretty sure Matt Mercer voiced him in our dub, so that also makes him like extra sexy. Like it's just he might be one of my favorites because I love the troubled ones because you're like, I can change him.
I can save him.
Yeah, yes. I can save him. He's not completely like far gone. Or I liked Rubius because I liked my redheads. Yeah, Nehelania is badass, but she's also like, don't sleep's hard, man. I have insomnia. Don't mess with people's dreams. That ain't cool.
Yeah.
Let people sleep.
I reckon she's a bit underrated. Like, I like all the villains, but for me, it's Galaxia. I think everyone's playing catch up to Galaxia for me. That's why I'm so pumped for the new movie.
See, and for me, it's Beryl. I think Beryl is the best of them because until Galaxia, none of them they were either basic, like kind of like cheap imitations or like they didn't quite fill the same shoes as Beryl. Cause like, let's be honest, Beryl, I mean, of all the deaths that the Sailor Scouts, because they die a lot, surprisingly. Like of all the deaths that they suffer, Beryl's were the most gruesome. Until you get to Galaxia. That's what I'm saying. Like, like Beryl just annihilated them. Oh my God, it was horrific. And like,
oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh no, I was gonna say I feel like Beryl also. I mean, maybe it's just kind of all of them, but I feel like Beryl in particular. I have a feeling that she was like the boss that never knew anybody's name, which is why they had to like come forward and whenever they come forward in front of her, they have to announce themselves like a Pokemon because she's like, I don't remember who this is. So she'd always be like, like Pika Pika. She's like, ah, yes, go do my bidding. Pika, Pika.
Do you reckon she was a bit of a Devil Wears Prada type?
Yeah, I think everybody there was like both aroused by her and intensely afraid of her, as they should be.
Makes sense.
Well, just between you, me, Lady G, and the chat, I really want Galaxia to step on me.
I'm sure that could be arranged.
It happens in this volume. I was like, that's kind of hot. And then she punches him in the face. I was like, oh, a bit much.
Little over the line.
Lethal like took his manga and like closed the doors, like, leave me alone, Mom. I'm gonna be in my room for a bit.
It's not a phase.
It's not a phase. But speaking of being aroused and terrified at the same time, one thing before we bring up the manga and go into why we're actually all here, I thought that Lethal would especially appreciate this.
Yeah. Right. It's that simple. Hot and fresh out the kitchen.
Yep, absolutely. So, and on that happy note, we are going to take a look at some of the most beautiful cover art. Like, this is just, I don't understand why it's so gorgeous, but like all of that yellow doesn't, it's not harsh. And like usually yellow is a really, like, if you have too much of it, it's very overbearing. It's very, it looks very crass, and this does not.
Yeah. It's also the blue. The blue helps it pop.
Yeah.
as well.
And just the way she drew hair, it was just so much like water, and everything was just this beautiful feminine movement. I don't know. I really always liked the manga.
Yes. Oh man, they could not. Could you imagine if that came out today? Like, by the way, drawn by a woman. Like the fact that you have to qualify it with the fact that this was in fact drawn by a woman and it's not like a male fetish thing.
Right.
You see it all the time where like people try to criticize manga specifically. They'll be like, oh, this female character was drawn for the male gaze. You know, look at what she's wearing and her breasts and all that. And it's like, it was drawn by a straight woman that's happily married for the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she likes girly things and she likes fashion. Like if none of it's people be like, this isn't feminist enough.
Yeah, I am when oh gosh.
So look at that.
That's cool.
She
looks kind of like alternative there. Like she looks like she like listen to My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, she's starting to get into a goth phase. She hasn't quite hit Fallout Boy yet, but
yeah.
Yeah.
She's not full scene. She's like experimenting. She went to Hot Topic with some friends yesterday, and it's like, all right, I might be feeling this.
Yeah. Saturn took her to where she hangs out, and it was a bit different.
Yes.
Oh.
Lee G, do you want to do a quick recap of where the last volume ended? Basically, it's all fucked. It's all bad. Everyone's dead.
Yeah. Essentially, Galaxia
2000 Sailor Moon.
Galaxia basically how best way to put this is they threw their most powerful attacks at her and Galaxia brushed it off like it was nothing and then laid waste to their souls, essentially. Like that's where we're kind of at is they are realizing that they can't compete with Galaxia and they are trying to go find this, like Lethal said, this super sailor scout with this other they're like, oh, like we need to find her. And the Sailor Stars, you find out, were trying to track down their lost princess. So they have been not like directly helping Galaxia, but they're also she basically how do I word this? It's
Everyone's
kind of like
dead.
everybody's dead, and basically Galaxia was like, hey, I won't kill your princess if you find me these things, and like I'll wipe out these planets. You'll get to look for your princess first, and then I'll wipe the planet out. I won't kill her right away.
Direct your eyes here. That's very clearly a woman.
But yeah, so it's we've kind of reached the point where they recognize that they do not have the power to.
One thing that
Galaxia.
this volume does, this whole story, this whole arc does more than most is it's all like there's a lot more like space traveling going on in this one as opposed to the previous volumes as well. Like they've done time travel, they've gone into like dream worlds, Freddy Krueger style. But this one's like actual like going through the galaxy, like all the different planets, because they actually go past like planet Mars and Jupiter and all that. And now they're like trying to get into a bit more like it's getting a bit more Star Trek like at the moment, where we're going to like the edge of the galaxy and there's a giant door that's taking us to like Star Zero and all that type of stuff as well. And there's definitely a lot more like, see, look at that. That's very Hades like, I reckon.
Yeah.
Coming in on like the boat and like, I will take your soul to the underworld, type stuff, which is, it's a giant desert out in the middle of, well, butt fuck nowhere, on the edge of nowhere.
So like where you live.
Yeah, dude, I know that chick. She lives down the hall. I don't know why everyone's so mean to her.
Like
she's
Matilda,
cool.
She's a little weird, but she's all right.
She's all right. She always brings back what she borrows.
Oh my god.
Like your manga that's a little bit crunchy now, and you're like, why are these pages sticking together? You're like, don't worry about it.
Here's the weird part, Amanda. It came back less sticky when I gave it to her, and I do not appreciate that. That's a lot of hard work.
All that effort.
What the fuck?
For naught. No, I think something that this actually, I was just about to say, something that this volume does really well. We're getting, like, you brought up the you know, the Grim Reaper and stuff, but like the solitaire, like loneliness, these strips, these blocks where it's Serena like utterly alone. It's Usagi. She's by herself. She doesn't, and it's not like Darien is going to come in, swoop in, and save her this time. You know what I mean? There isn't anybody left to pull the ripcord for her.
Even the cats are dead, man. They even killed the cats.
They killed the cats.
They're fucked up, man. But yeah, you're right. Like, there is like this whole loneliness theme, but that they kind of started doing that in the previous volume when Galaxia is appearing to her, and she's basically just appearing to like WWF trash talker, be like, "You're shit. You've always been shit. You're trash."
You ever see that episode? I mean, I don't know what it was. I remember in 5th grade, I watched an episode of WWF at the time, I guess, where they like had these two wrestlers who had a beef, and then finally one of them's like, you know what? It's time to put make bygones be bygones. So he invited him over for dinner to his house, and then he's like, and the other guy had this dog that he really loved, and he's like, you know, and they were talking about it, and he was like, hey, you like the food? He's like, yeah, it's really good. He's like, cause it's your dog. Ah! When you said that, that's what it made me think of. Like Galaxia is just like, here's Luna, you piece of shit.
Trey's in the chat. He might know who you're talking about. But yeah, that's pretty much what she's like. Because while that's all going on, Sailor Moon's like, nah, but I've seen the future. You know, it's all good. I have a daughter. I get married. You know, there's like peace for the galaxy. And Galaxia is just looking at her like, fucking lol, fuck your future. I'll change shit right now. And they're already starting to like fuck with her here, man. They're fucking with her memories. And they're going, you don't have friends. They're telling her back here. It's like, you don't have friends. Like, no one really liked you. And she was like, oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, I suck.
And then they go, what's with that ring? Do you have a boyfriend? And she's like, I don't think I do. I can't remember. And we get a lot of, that's one thing that happens in this volume is a lot more fights than I think this volume actually has more fights than all the previous ones. When you think of like a final volume, would you assume that it would be a lot of smaller scale fights that lead to a big fight, or just one giant fight?
I guess probably one giant fight.
What do you reckon, Lady G?
Gosh, I don't know. Like, I would think it would be one giant fight, but I guess it just kind of depends. So I think honestly that video games stole a lot from Sailor Moon, because the way that it like builds up to the final fight is like a lot of what you saw in later 2000s video games, where you had like mini boss, like you stepped up to these like little mini fights until you got to the actual final boss. And so like I can see why they did it this way, because she has to like, you know, break out of their lies and her delusions and find her inner strength and everything like that. Remember who she is, remember her destiny and everything, and the people she loves and who love her. So I get why they did it, but I agree with Amanda. I think that one big final fight makes more sense, especially in this context.
And a lot of the fights, well, all the fights are with other Sailor Guardians as well. Like every fight in this whole storyline, this whole story arc, is all against other Guardians, which is something that never happened. And this is bizarre. Do you know how this is a good volume? Because Chibiusa actually fucking does something.
Right? About freaking time. Good Lord.
So she's in like the 30th century, and she's like, "Oi, mum." By the way, she's 900 years old and still lives with her mum and dad.
Do something with your life.
And she's like, "Hey, I'm noticing it's not good. It's all bad. Everyone's disappearing. It's starting to disappear. What the fuck's going on?" And like Neo Queen Serenity's like, "Yeah, it's pretty munted, isn't it? Like everyone's disappearing, but their crystals are still shining, which means that their bodies are destroyed, but because they're Sailor Guardians, their crystals are still alive, which means they can be brought back, right?" And then she's even noticing that it's happening to her dad. It's happening to Pluto. Her and Pluto are obviously good friends. You know, poor Pluto. She doesn't get to talk to anyone in like a gajillion years, and then she starts hanging out with Chibiusa. you'd just be like, fuck that, just leave me at the door. I'm happy just to guard time forever.
Desperate for company, yo. Desperate.
Also, like she has a crush on Endymion, right? Like on Prince or
Mhm.
Prince.
Yeah.
So it's like she's like, yeah, sure, I'll totally, like, that would totally be me in high school. I'm like, yeah, I'll guard. Yeah, I'll totally. You want me to guard the gates of time? Absolutely. If it means like I'll like get a little of his favor, I'm just like, just notice me, senpai. Like that's probably how she got herself in that situation.
Well,
Always goes
see,
the same, doesn't it?
well, see, I like to think that Pluto just doesn't like people. She's
So
like,
it's a dream job for her.
yeah, she's like, oh, you need somebody who will literally live forever and is just as powerful as death to make sure that nobody screws with the timeline. Yeah, I can do that.
Even though they let her do it all the time,
All
like
the
the little pink-haired idiot.
God in heaven. So like when they give, oh my God, when she gets the time key and then she goes like, I just, oh freaking Chibiusa, just don't. Okay, so even she never needed to go. She should have never gone back in time to begin with. But even when she did, do you know how much better and more simple and prepared the scouts would have been if she had just told them her full name rather than just being like, oh, my name is Rini. If she had literally said that her full name is Neo Princess Serenity, not because we have a Neo Queen Serenity. She's like, I'm Neo Princess Serenity. Like, so much stuff could have been. Just give her your full name. Give them your full name. And like, you could have avoided so much turmoil and trauma to the Sailor Scouts. And you could have given them an advantage and they could have actually prepped for battle. But no, we're just going to be a brat and not tell anybody our full name or where we're from or anything.
It took her 4 story arcs, but she's finally stepped up and now she's going to go help. And I really like this part because look who comes back. And this definitely was not in the 90s anime with them coming back for the fight as well.
Yeah.
So this was a cool little payoff because they join her in the last story, in the last story arc, and they're like, "Hey, when it's your turn to step up and replace your mom, we'll be your inner guardians then." So that was cool to see them come back. Really wish the anime did something with them as well. That's one. Mm-hmm. That's one flaw that I do give the animes. They kind of just dropped the quartet and just forgot about them. They kind of do that with every arc, though. They kind of just drop it and then go on to the next one and forget about everything else.
They in the anime, the series the series are very obviously split up because even at the end of series S when or is it R where she falls back, like she's like, okay, bye, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna miss her, and then like 10 seconds later she falls back out of the sky and is like, oh, I get to stay. And then, so it's not like that was a carryover from R to S. Like that was literally the ending of R, so that you knew she was going to be in S when it started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like how they do that. But it's just a fake out. I mean, the first time you can get away with it, but then after that it becomes a bit repetitive, I reckon. Mm-hmm. Oh, so this is when they mention about the bracelets as well. How that's how she controls them. Now in the anime, she takes their star seeds, and if you lose your star seed, you're gonna die. But to prevent them from dying, she puts these bracelets on them. So she's like, right, you do whatever I say from now on, or I'll take your bracelets off. So when someone keeps failing her, she just shatters the bracelets, and that's what kills them all. So I like the idea of bracelets. It's kind of like a enslavement type tactic to keep people
like a shackle.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Lady G, what do you think of all like the fights that happen in this one? Because this one's just so there's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
Intense.
Yes, I think it did a really good job of showing how far everybody has come. As far as so we just talked about how Rini was kind of useless for 3 series, and now that we're in the final one, she's actually able to earn her keep, I guess, or step up and contribute in more than just
complaining.
talking trash or complaining or being like, I guess because up to this point, really the only thing she did that was of merit was stop Saturn from eviscerating the entire universe. You know,
cool thing that they did in the anime was Galaxia was in the anime, not in the manga. She's responsible for aging up Saturn. She goes, I'm going to need Saturn to come back so that way I can take over Saturn and I'll have access to her. And we all know how powerful she is. That's pretty powerful. I love Chibi. She's like the cute, less annoying version of Chibiusa. She's amazing.
I genuinely had kind of hoped that she was like the second daughter.
Oh, see, I would have preferred if she was the real daughter and Chibiusa was just someone they picked up at the pound or whatever from the RSPCA.
a rescue brat.
Yeah, no one wants her. When you were what was it like voicing like action scenes in Sailor Moon?
I mean, it was pretty fun. I mean, I'm pretty. I don't know. I do a lot of video games, so action and battle and death and getting hit was always pretty easy for me. But it is funny because in Sailor Moon, during battles, it's a lot of in unison lines. So it's a lot of like us going Sailor Moon, you know, and just like tuxedo mask, and then or being like electrocuted and having our energy drained by something, and then having like a call out of for our attacks.
So what does it say? Does the script say like Fro's punch makes?
Yeah, it'll be like open mouth punch effort or clenched teeth electrocution effort or whatever, or reaction, or they're called efforts and reactions basically. And
would a reaction count as like if the character you're voicing gets hit?
Yeah, so an effort is usually like something you're doing, whereas and they'll say like reacts, like REAX, and it'll be like notice reacts, like like, or just whatever. A lot of those anime sounds very just like like those little things. I think somebody told me that the technical term for that is called like a 102, because I think it's like so it's like you technically exhale more breath than you inhale, so it's like a 102. I don't know. So there was like a technical thing somebody told me at one point, but nobody calls it that. They just say notice reacts or a gasp, like
exaggerated anime gasp.
Yeah.
So is it harder to do the in unison parts, or like, because I'm guessing, like, I'm assuming that there's an editor somewhere that just puts all of your tracks like together, but like what happens if like three of you are all like but then like one of you goes like,
I mean, for the most part it's fine for that kind of stuff, but yeah, if it's we record separately, and then the engineer, a lot of times for our studio, the director usually also was the engineer, so that helped, that the director would the director would be like, all right, let's play you what the other girls did so you can match the timing, and then they'd play it back together, and then if you needed to go do it again faster or slower, like they try to get you to match it up as best they could. So they check in real time to make sure that they recorded something that would work.
Would there be like some scenes where it would just be like a nightmare to record to get everything right?
If it's a long line, like if it's like a long, usually it's just like, Sailor Moon or whatever, but sometimes it'd be like, we are the pretty guardians who blah, 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 like, and like the longer the line is, the harder it is for everybody to get it exactly the same. So those are definitely harder. Scenes where you have to scream are always hard because it's just, there's no way to, it's very hard to do it without messing up your voice. It depends. There's like because there's like protected screams, but then sometimes like in Sailor Moon especially, they'll have like those kind of blood curdling screams. Those, yeah, like they're just like like the girl screams where it's just like your vocal cords just rubbing against each other, versus kind of like like that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm just like screaming in the microphone, but like there's that's more like you can be loud but not hurt yourself. But then if you're being like killed, then it's you're just like, all right. Like I think in the attack at the end of season 1, the one that was cut from the original dub, but in ours when Jupiter's like bringing the storm, the lightning to like kill the, I don't know what we called them in our dub, but the D-Day girls in the original dub. But like she brings that thing down, it's like a 10-second scream, and like that's hard to do. So
see, I always thought that they only screamed like I thought you guys only screamed for like 1 or 2 seconds and then they looped it to help protect your voices. I didn't realize you guys were screaming that whole time. That's oof.
Yeah, and also sometimes they'll be like, "Ooh, it was too short," because it has to match to the picture, or "Oh, too long. Can you do it again?" You know,
oh,
or
it's too long. Cut that little part out right there.
it wouldn't sound natural. It would just sound like, yeah. It's unfortunately, So that's the
So
worst.
you would have loved it when you did the Stars dub, because when Jupiter dies in the Stars dub, it's just they just kind of drop like that.
Yeah, very easy. Yeah, they're just like Sailor Moon.
Well, there you go. See, Lethal. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna take a left turn really quick again. See, Lethal. So hentai voice actors do have to put in work.
I never said they didn't.
Are you kidding me? Hentai voice actors probably have to work harder than I do. They're pretty much doing all efforts and
reactions.
and they're probably doing a lot more varied ones where it's like, you know, sucking on tentacle and enjoying it reacts. You know,
be like, I wonder what that sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. They have to be more creative. They're like, oh God, no, I probably shouldn't do it on your stream.
It's fine. Do it.
Do you guys remember the grapefruit video from a couple years ago?
No.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm gonna do it, and then people are gonna like clip it, and it's gonna get embarrassing. But there's a clip of this woman. I guess she's like a sex. I don't know what she's supposed to be. Maybe she's a sex therapist. She looks just like a sex worker. Like she's got like a tank top and these hoop earrings. She's like, okay, so what you want to do is take a grapefruit, right? And you're gonna cut it. You're gonna cut it like this. Like it looks like she's in a cooking video. But then she's like, and then you're gonna take it and you're gonna cut out the center to fit your man's dick, and then you're gonna put it on there. And then she's like, you're gonna demonstrate like this, and then she demonstrates on this thing. And then now the noises, she would be a great hentai voice actress. Let's just say that. It was the wettest. Like I thought somebody must have added the sound effects afterwards because it was comical. Because she's like, yeah, you're gonna put it on there like this, and it's just like, it's just like.
Now, ladies, remember, grapefruit is also a fat burner, so you're actually losing weight while you suck it. Now, once you're doing this technique, it feels amazing to him, but he still has no idea what you're doing.
Okay, I'm gonna cut that off because I just got a warning from YouTube in my email. Who narked? That was so fast. Who narked?
Yeah, guys, be cool. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna get you guys demonetized. That's what I do. I'm actually the biggest Sailor Moon supervillain, and that's my goal. Because I can't get my comedy channel monetized yet because I make short clips, so it takes forever to get to 4,000 hours. So I'm just gonna demonetize everyone else while
there you go. There you go. That's the plan. That is the plan. It's
I'm
brilliant.
Gonna show that clip tonight.
Truly brilliant. But like that was, oh my gosh. Yes.
Anyway.
So, oh man, YouTube and Google emailed me. Lord in heaven, who narked? Somebody narked. But all right, but my question really is like,
wait, you got a question out of this?
I do.
I like that says Blabs. Take note.
Come on, Blabs.
Out of all of.
She's in awe. She's shocked.
I guess
she probably got another warning from like, I don't know, the White House or something, like FBI every time.
FBI's not on my door. All right, I can clip that scene out and we can be like, we can put it in like the Forbidden Archives or something. Right. Like, if you want to see it, you can go to the Forbidden Archives. I'll fix it, YouTube. Mama Susan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But no, like, how early are you like prepping this stuff? You know what I mean? Because like, wouldn't the grapefruit go bad?
I mean, citrus probably not like right away. Like I imagine she said that you're warming it up, so I imagine this is like he's like you're like, hey, I'm doing stuff to you. He's like, yep, ready to go. You just go in the kitchen and just I don't know.
As
20 minutes max. I don't think
from the other end, the other side to this conversation would be who the fuck cares at the moment.
I'm very curious now how many men have actually tried this and been like, yeah, I actually replaced my wife with a grapefruit. Like this is, I can't go back.
Every now and then they bring up, there's a study that says we've replaced men. We don't need them anymore. You know, we can you know, we can create artificial sperm to get pregnant and all that, so we don't need men anymore. It's like, okay, that's cool and all, but you needed decades of science to replace us. All we needed to replace you was a grapefruit.
A grapefruit or a pie or a towel or a sock. Pretty much anything, really.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't need no decades of science, just basic inventions and natural fruit.
Just the male urge.
Yep.
That's all you needed.
I'm really sorry though that I got you guys a warning. That was quick.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. That means that somebody tattled because
it was probably Blabs.
Oh no, it just means that somebody narked because oh my. But
I mean,
yeah,
it could also be the sound of that video because like they try to take that down as much as they can.
Oh, okay.
It could be that they're like, that's the sound, like the heard across the world.
Literally, yeah.
Anyway,
back onto Sailor Moon manga. That was yes.
Could you imagine like 15 years from now when they do like the Sailor Moon Crystal reunion and a man just comes on and goes, "Have you seen this grapefruit video?"
Yeah, guys. But to be fair, I described it pretty well though. I didn't say nothing in there was surprising, right? It wasn't like I made it seem like it was going to be wholesome. I said she died. Right? I gave you warning, right?
You did say that you do recommend her for hentai voice acting. And if I was in charge of casting people for hentai voice acting, I would strongly consider your recommendation of that lady.
Thank you. We have a new member. Did he join just because of the grapefruiting or did he join right after? And he's like, what's going on? What are you talking about?
Hi, I'm here for the grapefruit.
Yeah. Is this not a stream about grapefruiting? Different fruit techniques?
Hello, Arkansas. He's good people. Him.
Yeah, Ark is great people. So
Brian, I don't think Ivan would like that.
I doubt it. Okay, so I'm gonna end the poll really quick for favorite outer because it's been up for a full like 90 minutes because I started at 30 minutes before the stream. Saturn won with 35%.
Oh,
Pluto took second at 27%.
My girl.
And then Uranus at 22 and Neptune at 14.
I'm not surprised that Uranus beat Neptune in the poll. I mean, Uranus is the top in that relationship, so I could imagine more people voting for her. Pluto is my favorite. Saturn's Lady G's, so I kind of take this poll a bit personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and Pluto have the same birthday, October 29th. Fun fact.
I have the same birthday as Sailor Mercury.
Oh, bullshit.
That's awesome.
Did you say bullshit?
Oh, that's how Australians talk. We go, oh, bullshit. Like, as in like, oh, really?
Instead of no shit, they say bullshit.
Yeah. Get fucked.
You said it so friendly. You're like, oh, bullshit. And I was like, no, it really is September 10th.
Yeah, we do
like
that all
confusion.
the time. Like someone would be like, hey, you won't believe what I saw. I saw a chick grapefruit some dude, and you'll be like, get fucked, which is your way of saying, oh, really? That's crazy.
She's like, no, that guy did. Well, at least by a grapefruit.
By a grapefruit. It was awesome. Filed for a divorce the morning after, took half the money and bought grapefruits with it.
He's like, yeah, that's actually a lot cheaper. You know, you don't have to like pay to feed grapefruits or house grapefruits. I guess you have to like water the tree. Man, I think we just we made women redundant in this stream.
Yes. Yes,
sorry.
I know what I'm doing after this.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends. But see, if you were Sailor, everything is connected because if you were Sailor Jupiter, because grapefruits can't cook, they can't clean, and they, can't be.
Oh, look at that.
I have a. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I don't like Funkos. I think they're stupid looking.
No, I don't.
I like the Cuposkets. I think are adorable. I mean, look at those eyes; they're so cute.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember it used to be like when I was really young, it used to be like, oh, the puppy dog eyes. But now it's like, oh, it's the bug eyes or the anime eyes, like when you start to do the pout or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, anime really is taking over the world. Like
see, Mara says this is the most wholesome she's ever seen me talk.
Aw. It's true though.
Also, Brian, I can't trick Ivan into it because he's the one who showed me the clip in the first place.
Well, Ivan.
Yeah. He's seen some things.
So, fun fact, Amanda and I actually met in Dallas at the meetup, and we spent an hour of lunch talking about ghosts and possession and exorcisms. Got some very interesting tidbits, but also I think Ivan might just try. I think Ivan would literally try to cut a ghost in half. Like, if I had to guess, I feel like he would grab a sword and at least attempt to slice a ghost in half.
I mean, he has them in his trunk. Like,
you know,
I had an issue the other day where like a neighbor was like banging on my door. I think he was on drugs or something, and he like was banging on my door at like midnight, saying I needed to go out with him. And I was like, I don't know you. And he's like, go out with me. And I was like, no. And so he like kept banging on my door for like 20 minutes. So Ivan came down, and like thankfully the guy, I think his family members like dragged him away, but like by the time Ivan got there, I was like, what would you have done? He's like, well, I have a bunch of swords in my trunk, so I could have handled it if I had to.
There you see, that's what I'm saying. Everybody needs Ivan as a friend, or someone like Ivan.
Yeah, like definitely, because he also has trained like for like 9 years. I think he trained, was it Wing Chun or something? So like he
I think the
stuff.
Yes,
and he knows his grapefruiting, I guess.
He knows his grapefruiting, and he knows. Wait, so do you think what came first, the swords or the grapefruit? Heyo.
Oh,
definitely the grapefruit.
Yeah, that's why he started getting into the. Yeah, he's like, I need to. Somebody did it to him, and he's like, I need to figure out how to replicate that for myself. And so he's like, how do I cut the grapefruits?
And then swords. Oh, it's good stuff. But yeah, it was that was actually a really fascinating talk, and we actually did bring up sleep paralysis. That was mentioned, but more so that the fact that that's actually like demons as opposed to ghosts. Which I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't want to fight either. Like, I mean, if I had to, I would. But if they were like, hey, you have the option, you can go into this room and you can fight a demon if you want to. I want to be like, can he get out of the room? Or like, is he sealed in there permanently? Because I think we just leave the door closed and let him stay there.
Like, be like, nope. I would fight a ghost because I went on a ghost hunt in St. Augustine, and I have a video of like a very small, like they were able to move something, but it was such a small like movement. I was like, oh, and the lady was saying that apparently there were a couple spirits she sensed over there. So I was like, that was several spirits. Y'all are fucking weak. So like that made me less afraid of ghosts, because I'm like, all right, well, if you exist, you little bitches. Although when I told somebody that for the first time, my power shut down.
Oh,
like I was like, yeah, they're just little bitches, and like the power shut down and my phone shut off, which doesn't make any sense because they're not connected. So then I was like, okay, I get it. You're theatrical. Could also just been like maybe there's a storm at the time. I don't remember, but like,
oh man, yeah, no, I don't. So being Catholic, like ghosts aren't real, but demons definitely are. And I prefer not to taunt them. Because again, like, I don't need to be in a dark alleyway and have, like, Beelzebub pop up and be like, give me your soul, human. Like,
that's thinking very highly of your soul. I'm just saying. There's like 7 billion people on this planet.
What can I say? You know what? Someone has to have hubris as their deadly sin. I guess it's mine.
Soul schmoles. All I need is a grapefruit.
That would be funny if Beelzebub's like, no, I don't want your soul. What's wrong with you? You got any citrus though? Grapefruit, preferably.
Okay, so this page is actually really cool. There's no grapefruits, but this is actually a really cool page, because this is the one where they're talking about how because these Sailor Guardians are outside of our universe. We're getting into like, you know, Star Wars and Star Trek stuff now.
Yeah.
Not Earth, not Mars, not Saturn, nothing, anything like that. And they're talking about how throughout history, like regardless of where you go, there's always been conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And that all changed when Galaxia came down, because basically Galaxia came down and fucking killed everyone, so there was no fighting. If you kill everyone, there is no more racism. Correct? Yeah. That's kind of her.
Wait, so John Lennon, like, imagine, like, was actually a song about genocide? Where
yep,
absolutely. I don't know why everyone's been praising this song for years. Like, you've all got it wrong.
He's like, you kill everybody. There's no hate. There's no war. There's no pain.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, so she comes down and just fucks up every planet that she goes to. and then starts recruiting, Guardians to come join her.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like,
after she rips out, by the way, this is after she rips out their star seed, and she's like, you can die very painfully, or you can come serve me.
Yeah, fuck yeah,
like,
those are your choices.
That's literally your choice.
So she's on a rampage. And one thing I think that this manga does better than this season of the anime is it shows that she's been on a rampage throughout the whole galaxy. Like, it emphasizes that point a little bit better than the anime, in my opinion. And they're telling her, they're like, look, as long as like you exist, Sailor Moon, people will. They say to her, they're like, look, we understand that you want a galaxy where there's peace and no fighting, but as long as you are who you are, people are going to want to fight you to take your power. So it will not end until you die. And then Usagi, being the hero of the story, steps up and says, all right, then kill me.
Mm-hmm.
See, every time she has a selfless moment like this, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yes.
Well, and the thing too, like these moments of self-sacrifice, something that we really, Amanda, that Lethal and I really hounded on in the past was, Rini never did this. Like, at no point, the one time that she does like a sacrificial act, it's literally because she's trying to one-up Serena. It's not because she actually is that selfless. It's because she was trying to one-up Serena. And then she had no consequences for her actions whatsoever. Like, everything just turned out fine.
So she's just the biggest. She's actually the biggest villain of the series, is what you're saying. She's like,
yes,
the sailor narcissist.
Yeah,
down for it. Yes, sailor narcissist. I love it. That should be her name. Because I mean, it's like, honestly, when the Amazons tell her that, oh, we'll be your Sailor Scouts whenever you take up the mantle, when your mom and dad step down and stuff, right? And she's like, oh, it's so, like, that's so cool. I have my own, like, I don't think, doesn't she call them like her servants or something like that, Lethal? Like, I forget, but the wording was even like,
in the manga, Galaxia calls them all scum.
Yeah, like,
but she refers to herself as scum as well, because we'll get into that in a few pages. It pops up, or maybe like in the next chapter. But she's all like, "Nah, we're all scum compared to what's really out there." But she's basically, she sees existence as levels of scum. Like, which level of scumbag are you?
Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because when you get into kind of the psychology of Galaxia, she is, by destroying these planets and killing these souls, these individuals, because obviously they're not all technically humans, of course, she is sparing them from a worse fate. So, like, in her mind, if they were weak and useless, she didn't want them. But literally, she is, how she said it in the last manga, Letha. How did she put it? Like, an existence of meaninglessness and
hopelessness.
Like, hopelessness. Yeah, like of never knowing like the true power in the universe or something like that. So she's, in her mind, she's saving these people from a boring life, essentially.
Yeah, and just something that's just so, because she meets chaos, like the embodiment of all evil in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you people just can't even begin to comprehend what I've just come face to face with.
Yep.
So it's all shit for all you. But oh my God, we got to talk about how good this artwork is. Every now and then, there's just a panel that just slaps extra hard.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of them.
God, it's so good.
We're even like, Amanda, we always point out there's a lot of giraffe necks in this manga. Everyone seems to have a really long neck. But here, it's pretty, shortened down quite a bit.
They've got the giraffe necks, and then the legs are just like, they're
gazelles,
like tiny people on top of wobbling tall like towers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all on stilts. And yeah, so they kind of go on all that little fucking tirade like that, and more fights keep happening and more people die. So even the way they die in the manga if they did deaths like this in the anime, it'd be like, yeah, there goes your Toonami slot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think they do kind of do them like that in Crystal.
In the later, yeah, they kind of ramp it up a little bit. For me, Crystal, animation-wise, gets better and better. Like, at the start, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, the beginning was, they rushed it, and season 3 got really good. I think they fired whoever did the first 2 seasons, because I hated that 2D, or the 3D transformations. It's like, everything's 2D, and suddenly the transformations are 3D. I'm like, nah.
Well, and like Lethal and I have talked about how the 90s version, the colors were so much more vibrant in, like, especially when you look at season 1, like Jupiter almost looks washed out in season 1 of Crystal, as opposed to the 90s version where, you know, she's got like that deep jade and forest green going on, and her hair has like that different dimension, and it's really dark, and you know, she contrasts really well, as opposed to when you look at season 1 of Crystal, where everything's kind of muted. So it was interesting to see those side by side for sure.
Chibi. I love Chibi. I reckon if I could have any pet in the world, it'd be Chibi.
Well,
so you would have a pet child? Do we need to call someone?
Call CPS?
I think what child. She's like a cosmic entity.
So we're gonna get with another warning. It's like, don't traffic in children. You cannot just have them and just like have them as a pet.
Mom, I want one.
Yeah, I promise I'll walk it every day and feed it
every day.
Lethal needs himself a dwarf.
I'm just looking for a walking bar stool, really. Look at that. All the fucking Starlights just get their ass kicked as well.
Yeah. This is just... Oof.
But they die real sexy, though. Look at that.
Hey, if you're going to go out, might as well look good.
Yeah, they're all just like, oh, me, I'm just dead. Don't worry about it.
How do you feel about the contrast between how they are, especially this stage into the manga, than how they are in the anime, Lady G? It's a bit different.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I prefer at this stage, I preferred them in the anime.
Yep.
Just because, for lack of a better word, they came off as more human in the anime. Like they were, their arc made a bit more sense to me in the anime than it did in the manga. Because here in the manga, it's like they found their princess and then a switch flipped. But in the anime, Serena won them over herself.
Especially fuck. That one.
Saya?
Saya, but it's Sailor. Oh god, healer, fighter. That's fighter,
Maker.
right?
Fighter. Which one's the one with the gentle uterus? That's the one in the back, right? Healer.
Yeah. Yep, healer.
That attack makes me laugh every time.
I know, that is so fucking wild, man.
A Midol commercial, or it's just like gentle uterus.
I gotta bring out that clip. That is, it's like I said, I rewatched it recently for this, and I was like, did he? No, they didn't actually say that, did they? Sailor Stars. Sorry, go on, Lady G.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say, like, because at this point in the anime, Serena had won them over herself, and then they find their princess, so they sort of revert back to who they were before, a little bit. But then when they start to go toe to toe with Galaxia and her minions, these other Sailor Scouts that she's enslaved, this torn feeling of shit, like, well, she was kind to us, she's a princess, she's this, she's that, like, we need to help her too. And so they have like this, it makes more sense for them to have that sort of that cognitive dissonance inside them. So like, who are they supposed to help more? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, oh Lord, here we go.
There you go, Amanda. To balance out your grapefruiting.
Stop!
it's wet. Oh God. Oh,
it's burning him.
Like, is that like
gentle uterus?
What is that?
That's a gentle uterus. Oh, see, I swear, like back like 90s anime, you could look back at it and just go, "Oh, anime."
Oh,
I like that he does. It's not that it burns; it's actually just disgusting, and that's what like stops the villains. Like, oh, it's in my mouth.
Oh.
Be like, oh my God, it's just star jelly. Calm down.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this is fucked up.
Oh my word.
Oh, where's Mars? Mars, can you just come set me on fire? Christ almighty. Oh, yeah. So anyway, it's all going down as per normal. Everyone's just getting their fucking ass kicked. There are so many asses getting kicked in this storyline, but especially this volume. It's all brutal. Yeah, so that's all happening as well. But I really wish in the anime they did more of the like traveling in outer space. I don't think they even did it in the anime. It was just Galaxia coming down.
Yeah, I think they briefly like I think it was Maker like took Serena up into space for like half a second to be like, there's so much out there, but that's all we did. Which they very much told and did not show.
Yeah. So here's Galaxia. One thing, and I said this last time, that one thing that I really, really, really like about Galaxia is like you look at like these images here and you're like, she doesn't come across as a villain in these images.
Mm-hmm.
She's very like I don't want to say like majestic, but
no, she is.
Majestic's the right word, you reckon?
Yeah. Like,
but then
ethereal.
She turns around and she's all like, "Oi, I'll fucking kill every single one of you."
Yeah, and she comes off as very ethereal, very majestic. Yeah, and then all of a sudden,
she just in this image right here, she's a better Galadriel than fucking Rings of Power.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my word. So,
but you know what I mean? Like she's got that. Yeah, you could be like, you know, fucking running the shit for like a bunch of like for a race that's supposed to be a bit more beautiful and you threw otherworldly. Yes, thank you.
Yes, there you go, D-Day.
But again, like I don't know, I've seen some people say that in the manga she's less of a villain than in the anime, and like, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, she's killed cajillions but billions of people herself, but
didn't we do the math? Didn't she blow like with all the planets she's destroyed? She's up in like the tens of billions of killed that she killed. Like it's not like she accidentally, you know, set off a bomb or something. She literally
she went down there and said,
out.
"Hi, my name's Galaxia and I'm here to kill you."
Yeah,
please line up.
She's in the tens of billions that she has.
And face the wall.
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
Like, and half of them were like, "Yes, mummy."
Yeah, they're like, "Yes."
But she just doesn't come across as a villain. Like here, she looks like she should be like one of like Sailor Moon's friends.
Yeah, well, because remember, I mean, she is the Sailor Scout. Like, she is the Super Sailor Scout. Mm-hmm. So, like, she very much up until she met Chaos, you know, she was very. She was ethereal. She was good. She did all of these things, and then she saw Chaos, and it broke her that badly.
Yeah, but there's a big. I'll say it for the end, man. I'm gonna.
Okay.
You'll see. You'll see what I'm gonna say at the end. You're gonna be like, "Oh, you're gonna kick me off."
I'm gonna kick you off.
See, here she looks a bit more villain-like.
Yes, much more femme fatale.
It's the makeup. She's just got a lot of eyeliner, and suddenly that's like, oh, now she's evil. Got it.
So eyeliner is what I should be looking for.
Mm-hmm. If you want somebody to step on you properly.
To avoid you? I was going to say to avoid you or to step on you.
Right. He's like, if I want mommy to step on me, he's like, do you have eyeliner? Will you step on me? Or grapefruit me? That's a good second.
Yeah, either way.
Prize.
Oh my.
We live in a world where stepping on's better than being grapefruited.
I assume in your world. I don't know. I don't know what you're into.
Right, Jade? Like, Jade's over here. She's just like, Galaxia like, I accidentally committed genocide. Oopsie.
Oh, did I do that? Sorry.
My bad. I just wiped out 16 planets in 4 days. Oh, oops.
Amanda, what did you think of Galaxia's design?
I mean, I liked it. It reminds me a lot of the I don't know if it's Thai dancers. There's like, I think it's Thai. There's like they have the dancers with like the cool like hats and shit that I always liked growing up. Because I'm a very cultured person and I've been on It's a Small World many times, and that's what it reminds me of. Also, I imagine it probably does not feel as cool as it looks, because like that does not look comfortable. Like when she sits down, does it just like cut her every time? Because it looks like it's pinchy.
You're really ruining a lot of fantasies at the moment.
Or maybe enlightening some other people. They're like, oh yeah, like, oh, she's uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't know.
She doesn't. But the thing is, she doesn't look uncomfortable. She looks okay. So even if that is the case, what I would say is the pain probably helps her focus, because you do have women and men who do that, where like they will purposefully be uncomfortable so that they maintain a certain posture at all times. And also,
like
if
Darth
you are
Vader.
So they can't get complacent. Could you imagine Darth Vader just sitting in his chair like this?
Right? Yeah. Just like leaning back, like you're back on the block. Yeah, no. Yeah. So it probably helps her maintain like that pose, that poise, and that posture. And also, if you are in mild amounts of pain, you are less likely to be forgiving, and you're less likely to be compassionate and empathetic, because you're in pain and you're like, look, it's taking all the patience I have right now not to snap you out of existence, because I'm irritated with you and I'm in pain, so you're not getting anything from me.
Yeah,
so I mean, there could definitely be function behind that fashion sense if we went that route.
There's no like, when people are like, oh, when people are like, is she on her period or whatever, and they're like, that's offensive. It's like, no, it makes sense. Like, it's pretty much us. Like once a month, it's like, I will snap you out of existence. I am trying. like I'm in pain. I'm gonna commit a genocide. It's gonna be your fault.
Yep.
Yeah. So Galaxia is just the longest running woman on a period in history.
Yeah, like she has like a hormonal issue, and she could have all could have been solved if she like had gone to like, I don't know,
got
get
a
it
chocolate
balanced
bar
out
or something.
Yes, a chocolate bar would have.
That is why she's destroying all of these worlds, because she has not found the chocolate that will help with all the crap she's going through. That's what it is.
It's like just a super sexist thing of like, she just needs chocolate and Ben and Jerry's. Yeah. Like a good
Tuxedo Marsh just comes along and just goes, she's just on the period, bro. That's all it is. It's like in the previous volume, there's a part where where Mileji laughs so much, he slaps the fuck out of all the Guardians.
Yes!
He just goes up to one at a time and slaps the fuck out of them.
Wait, about freaking time.
When was this?
It's in the last arc, so that would be Super S.
Mm-hmm.
He slaps the shit out of all of them.
Just
we're like,
one by one.
Every single one.
We're like, dude, he's been holding on to that slap for the whole story, and now
absolutely.
He's just, and it shows Venus rubbing her cheek, being like, oh, that hurt, man. Like, God damn, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. All the dumb shit you've said, all the stupid decisions you've all made, I've got my chance to slap the shit out of you. So it only makes sense that he would go up to Galaxia and just give her a Snickers bar. You're not you when you're hungry, Galaxia. Stop blowing up planets.
She was just hangry. That's all it was.
Yep. She's just hangry.
Just hangry. I love her castle as well, and how the embodiment of chaos is in there. And I think this is actually the first time that we actually see like chaos. And very clearly it becomes clear that there's a bigger bad behind Galaxia.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of like, she very much is a Darth Kaitis character, both in the anime and in the manga. Like in this one, she knows that no one can defeat chaos. So she's like, well, I'll join you, because her plans to gather enough strength, especially from stealing Sailor Moon Silver Crystal, and she'll be going, that plus my power, I reckon I can take on chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means I got to blow up 3/4 of the universe to do it, I'll do it. But she does believe deep down that everything's fucked. So she kind of just wants to wipe the slate clean in a weird way. Bit of a Thanos before Thanos with a bit more logic as well.
And so in order to save the universe, I have to destroy the universe. Type of mentality, which is just, it's so backwards and it doesn't make any sense. She became the very thing that she wants to have enough power to destroy. You know what I mean?
Get ready for the nerd debate, Amanda. It's about to happen.
I'm just saying, Chaos didn't have to lift a finger because Galaxia did it for him.
But at the same time, the existence of Chaos, he's crushing shit whenever he wants to. No one can stand up to him, right? And we know Galaxia is super powerful, but as powerful as she is, she recognizes that she cannot defeat him no matter what. So she's going around the galaxy looking for powers to get herself stronger, so that way she can turn against Chaos and eventually defeat him. And then, yes, she is going to rule the universe, but there'll be no more wars or anything like that. She's kind of like Kira.
It's called a dictator, Lethal. That's a dictator.
But she's right, though.
But she's not right. Like, she is doing Chaos's job for him.
But if she didn't, Chaos would just destroy the entire universe himself.
Okay, so because someone else is going to be evil, you're simply going to beat them to the punch of being evil?
I'm going to evil you first.
Right? Like
she definitely becomes corrupted while doing it. And I mean, how could anyone not? But her motivations, and this is what makes her a good villain, is her motivations are sound. Maybe extreme, yes, but from her point of view, seeing everything that she sees, especially in her backstory, I mean, how could you not kind of think that from her point of view? If you were her in her shoes, like, this kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I'm about to give you a hot take on Galaxia, and this is the reason why that Beryl beats Galaxia for me. That mentality, that viewpoint that she has taken is one of a coward. Where you're like, okay, I've seen the big bad. There's nothing that what she is assuming is that she is the most powerful being in existence in all the galaxies and all the universes, and she can't stand up to Chaos, which means no one can stand up to Chaos. Therefore, she is going to destroy everything, hunting for the power to be able to turn on Chaos at some point. And then when it's all said and done, if she does get enough power and she is able to destroy Chaos, she will literally have nothing but a kingdom of ash and bone to rule. Whereas if she had simply looked at it and say, I can't defeat this. However, I can be a herald. I can be a warning. I can go out and seek others who are powerful, and perhaps together we would be able to overcome this evil that is Chaos. But instead, she 100% gave into Chaos and she became his weapon, whether she wanted to or not. Because
so two things to that. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, because she is doing the destruction that he was going to do. She's just getting there sooner, and she's claiming it's for the right reasons.
Okay, so first, if she didn't do what she did, everyone would be dead, including Sailor Moon. Everyone would be dead, and we find out later what Chaos is creating. Barrel and all that, Pharaoh 90, all of them came from Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So without Chaos, none of them would exist.
Mm-hmm.
So she believes that if she doesn't do what she's going to do, everyone will die.
Okay.
She's very much a Jason Solo type character. And that leads me to what my hot take was going to be at the end of the stream. Anime Galaxia is better, because Anime Galaxia, very, 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 very similar. But she fought against Chaos, right? And then she understood that she could not defeat it, so she trapped it. And the only thing powerful enough to trap Chaos in was herself. So she sacrificed herself, but before she could do that, she let go of her own starseed in just praying that someone will eventually find it and be able to release her. And with Chaos inside her, she was able to control it because, she is the strongest guardian. up until Sailor Moon goes full fucking skits. And she was able to control it within herself, but it being the embodiment of evil, it slowly corrupted her to the point of where she is. Because Anime Galaxia deep down wants to lose because she knows it's fucked up what she's doing, but no one else could do what she did.
But okay, so here's the thing though. Sailor Moon and the Scouts, they defeated Beryl. They defeated Nehelenia. They defeated all of those pieces of chaos.
Yep.
Right? So all of those villains, they were born of chaos, they were from chaos, and they were able to overcome, even if it is only a portion of chaos, they were still able to overcome that. So if nothing else, everything has been leading up to this moment to prove that together, especially with like her thing, power of love, power of friendship, it is possible to overcome even the greatest evil in the galaxy.
But that's where you're wrong, because in both the manga and the anime, they don't actually kill chaos. They just send it back.
You can't kill chaos. It's an abstract.
That means the threat is still out there. Like the physical embodiment of it is still out there, which is why Galaxia in the anime said, I'll just trap it within myself because no one else is strong enough to contain it. Fair enough.
I think Pluto or Saturn probably could have, but I don't think I don't want chaos inside of Saturn. That'd have been bad.
No, because that's the
She's got enough going on.
Right.
Yeah. Enough on her plate.
Yeah. You don't need chaos going through a goth phase with a scythe that can cut holes in reality. What do you think, Amanda? Amanda's like, you two are fucked in the head.
I'm like, you fucking nerds. My first instinct was thinking of Brooklyn Nine-Nine was cool motive, still murder.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not denying that she's a villain. She done some fucked up shit. I just seem to enjoy doing it.
I definitely love, like, story-wise, I always love when a character's like conflicted and they have good reasons, but it's still like, yeah, you can have reasons, but you still did a thing. Also, I've just been staring at the thing that says, when did it get so thick?
Grapefruit.
Because I'm 12 years old. I haven't always been like this, guys. I used to go to Awanas. I used to be a vacation Bible school kid. It's probably why I'm this way now.
I love
if it makes a bit more sense, I'm also pro Kira. I think Kira had the right idea up until he went a bit too far.
Oh gosh, now we know where you. Okay, now we know your vibe, man.
I think I'm thinking Lethal. I think that your morality compass is just a bit. It doesn't point due north. It doesn't point due north. That is for sure.
Your moral compass has been grapefruited.
And I wish. Woo, that smells citrus then. And I've always said that Darth Kaitis is the best Star Wars character, and he does similar stuff. His whole motivation was, I'll wipe out.
Are you a tortured soul, Lethal? Like, is that what you're secretly trying to tell us?
I am a goddamn hero that will take chaos.
Who hurt you?
Oh man, I have no doubt, Lethal, that you would pull the self-sacrifice card if it came to it. But I'm gonna let you know that you don't have to. There is no intergalactic threat that I am aware of. That
Amanda, is there an intergalactical threat out there that I'm gonna have to absorb into my own physical form?
I mean, where do I start? I don't know. There's a lot of things. You should be afraid. You should be very, very afraid.
That's a yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, are they as bad as like going to an intergalactical cemetery where like your 3 new friends have their fucking heads attached to tombstones?
I don't know, man. Like, have you ever gone down an escalator or up an escalator and somebody just stops at the top right in front of you? It's pretty big threat. It's pretty shitty. It's same level.
Now, would that be enough motivation for you to go, you know what? Maybe I should absorb chaos and start wiping out the galaxy.
Oh yeah, there's many lesser things have made me be like, you know what? Yeah, like I'm a firing squad. All of you.
Galaxia was right. Could that become a new trend?
Galaxia was right.
Oh my gosh. Amanda gets a little bit of power and she's like, all right, listen, you a-holes.
She comes out dressed as Galaxia. Yeah. All right.
There's a very good reason that I like. It's a good thing I don't have power. I can't become president because I was born in Germany. My dad was in the Air Force. So you're all lucky. Because if I ever got elected president, things would change, and nobody would be safe.
Nobody would be safe.
Nope.
I have reportedly gone on. I have constantly gone on record saying that I believe we should nuke the ocean because that shit is fucking terrifying, man.
It's deep, and you can't see what it's hiding. It's got
exactly
secrets. Like, why is it so dark and murky if it wasn't hiding?
What's it got to hide down there?
And like big coral reef is just trying to, like, people are like, oh, the reefs, and they're just trying to get money from you. It's not going to the reefs. Right. The reefs are actually like nuclear weapons.
Did
like
you see?
Fuck
did
the
you
reef.
see that? So they found like a 10,000-year-old shark down there.
What?
Yeah, there's like or is that how old it was? I have to, but maybe it was the squid. Basically, hang on. Okay, so
fuck that.
All right, let me find it really fast.
It's all bad.
Okay. So basically, because they keep exploring like these depths of the ocean. Okay. Here we go. Oldest shark in the world is 392 years old, but then they found a jellyfish, and they call it basically like the immortal jellyfish. This thing, the jellyfish is what's like pre-man. Hang on, let me find it.
Fuck that jellyfish.
He's like, I've seen some shit.
Kill me.
It was so cool until you rocked up.
Because essentially what happens is, so it goes from infant to adolescent to adult, and then it de-ages itself back down to an infant and then grows back up. And so like it just keeps going back and forth. Yeah, but it's the same entity. So here is here's
Imagine,
a
like,
picture.
doing that, though, like coming home to your wife and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm 8 years old today, by the way. How you doing?"
Just hope that's cool.
Right? Okay, so someone can correct me if I'm wrong. So the tentacles are the tentacles are like a mile long or something like that.
Fucking hell.
But this is the bulb of like the jelly part of the jellyfish. So like when they found it.
And you're telling me Galaxia doesn't have an argument?
No. I'm saying we should not nuke the ocean because I'm pretty sure that's how this thing came into existence.
It's a Godzilla egg.
Like, it definitely is. Let's not nuke the ocean because we don't need more of these things.
He must live a very lonely life. Like, no other jellyfish is doing that. He's just like stuck like Benjamin Buttoning for the rest of eternity. And
for all of eternity.
He'll have to watch everyone he loves die. And then even like an online dating's probably not easy for him. Look how big he is. Like, girls are gonna be like, no,
okay,
you're too big for me.
So I know this is just the here's just like the clip or what, like the what is that called? Not soundbite, clickbait, I guess. But so potentially, the creatures have been floating in the oceans long before dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago, and it is biologically possible that this single immortal jellyfish has been alive that entire time. So this dude is 66 million years old, possibly.
Could you imagine just floating around the ocean? Like, what does he do all day for 66 million years?
I have no idea. But like, I was prepping a science class and I read that and I was like, there's no way. And yeah, sure enough, like they've talked about how we know less about our own oceans than we do about space.
Exactly. That's why we got to fucking nuke the ocean.
No, we're not dropping nukes into the ocean.
Okay, but
Galaxia
to be fair,
was right.
To be fair, what has the ocean done for us? Because like it's salt water, so
it's salt water and urine.
We can't drink it.
No, but it does provide like a third of the world's food source when it comes to different types of seafood, and it also helps to maintain and moderate temperatures, and it does help with like the Ring of Fire, that whole, that big ring of volcanoes. It helps.
Wait, you're telling me he wrote the Johnny Cash song? So
yeah,
he can stay in. He's cool.
He's like, I've been around a while. I know all the greats.
I know all the greats.
I helped.
Yeah, like this jellyfish. The reason that they were so impressed by it is because when they first tested a tentacle piece, so like someone went down there and biopsied this thing, right?
Like they just took a bit and they're like sorry, bye.
Yeah, they got up to one of these huge mile-long tentacles and they snipped a piece off and they went and carbon dated it, or however they went and tested it to see how old it was. That tentacle is what was 10,000 years old. So, but the jellyfish itself has technically been alive for 66 million years. That's a long life.
Are there others
that?
like
Imagine
it?
how many remakes that thing's seen. How many shitty remakes that thing's seen.
Like if we're annoyed by crappy reboots, he's like, even the first one, I've already seen the original, like the original that was based off of.
Mm-hmm.
I like the 7,542 BC version better.
Yeah. It's like I liked it in the scroll format when I read it, like in the old temple back in the day.
Be like, at least when Rome fell, they did it with style and fashion and pizzazz.
With a flash and a bang and
with a flash and a bang. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying so. No, this does not justify what Galaxia did, because if that dude can float around for 66 million years plus, I think we could probably find someone who can possibly take on chaos itself. But Sergeant Herbs, we're not nuking the ocean. That is how those things come to existence.
Yeah.
So,
one in the chat. If Galaxia was right and we should be nuking the ocean.
We're not nuking a lot of ocean.
And the comments. Hey, so I don't know about you guys, but the other day I went down to the local cemetery to find the Undertaker, and mine did not look like that.
Oh yeah, then you need to come to America. All of our Undertakers look like that.
Fucking oath. Keen.
Especially LA.
Yeah, for sure.
In LA, they're all like Botoxed and they're just like, hey, yeah, we'll bury your loved one. And they just look
very Stepford wives for sure.
Yeah.
Look at so we got they even tied up Chibi. They got Chibi, the crucified Chibi.
No.
So like
take Chibiusa instead.
Yeah, crucified Chibiusa. We're cool with that.
Let's trade. No, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw this panel, I was like, why are there Gundams in my Sailor Moon? And I was like, oh, okay, they're just tied to posts. Never mind.
Carry on.
Oops, sorry, my thing wasn't clicked on it. Yeah, so they're all getting fucked up over there. But who comes in clutch for once in their fucking life?
Lady. It's so interesting because, like, in the R series, she was called Small Lady.
Yep.
And now she's Pink Lady. So it's interesting because we went from Small Lady to Dark Lady, and now we have Pink Lady.
I saw someone point out though that she kind of represents more of a blood moon than an actual moon, and that's why her hair's pink.
Oh.
Either way, she's trash, but
I mean, yeah. Shouldn't she be a redhead then, though?
I guess that'd make a bit more sense, yeah. But yeah, she comes in with the Amazons quartet, and they actually, like I said before, I'm actually glad they brought them back instead of just forgetting about them, like the 90s anime did. And yeah, she comes in clutch for once, but she's all spooked because of everything that she saw in the 30th century, and rightfully so. But you think she'd be all like, oh, hey, mum from the past, please don't die. I kind of need you. It'd be pretty fucked up if you were to get hurt, but nah, she just comes in and...
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and Amanda, like I was saying, I know time travel is actually one of my least favorite tropes because it is so hard to do well. And if you don't do it well, then the story just falls apart and it doesn't make any sense. And in this case, outside the fact that Chibiusa was trying to literally bang her dad and get in between her mom and her dad getting together, outside of all of those contradictions, the thing is, like, in situations like this, when Chibiusa shows up, if anything else had gone differently, she would not be there. Like she wouldn't have shown up. So what's really hard to kind of grasp is because, like, the Serena right now that is going through this doesn't know that Rini is going to show up, but Serena of the Neo Queen Serenity does know that this is going to happen. So what is confusing is like, why wouldn't Neo Queen Serenity simply, send her daughter, like, is she the one sending her daughter back to these things because she knows she needs her in these times in order to not lose? Or is this Rini acting of her own volition, and Neo Queen Serenity, being the wise queen that she is, doesn't tell Rini about it because she could possibly alter the past that way? You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much that goes into this, and so many layers, because the other thing about time travel is it's really tempting, because you get into the paradox of, would you go back and kill Hitler as a baby if you could?
Yeah, well, you mentioned before.
Yeah, but if you do that, and then Hitler never exists, you have no reason to go back and kill him.
Right.
So, like, you enter into that paradox.
Wait, so what happens if you go back in time, you kill baby Hitler, and then you're just stuck in 1940s or 19 whatever. He would have been baby in what? 1900? Germany?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So I don't know how old he was when he started his like genocide shit. But like, that is crazy. You get stuck because suddenly your reason for going back
is now no longer exists.
So then maybe you just get stuck in that. That could be an interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
So Ashton Kutcher. Make it happen, Ashton Kutcher. and then die off, and then you're just known as a baby killer.
Yeah,
he didn't do the evil shit.
They're like, bro, what the fuck? And then you just go to jail, and you're in jail in like early 1900s Germany, which is probably not very fun.
No.
And you're trying to tell him, you're like, dude, you don't know what this guy was gonna do. And they're like, he's a fucking baby, you sick fuck.
Because probably gonna shit his pants. Like, leave him alone.
Exactly. Like, and the thing is too, because you would have to. The thing is, you would now have entered into a parallel like, you would have literally created a parallel universe, a parallel timeline, which technically, I'm not saying it makes you God. I'm saying that it gives you a knowledge that you would not otherwise be able to have if you simply naturally existed in that time. So you forever exist in two timelines as the same person. So, like, your timeline is linear, but it crosses these two universes. And so everything that you did leading up to whenever you traveled back in time to kill baby Hitler, essentially you die in that timeline, because you can't go back, because if you go back, you forget why you ever had to go back in the first place, because your reason for going back no longer exists.
Oh, Rini fucking sucks.
So, like, this is what I'm saying when it comes to time travel, especially with Sailor Moon, because Rini comes back so frequently. The only thing that I can think of, and it's never brought up, so this is literally have to be classified as headcanon, is that Neo Queen Serenity was wise enough to recognize that if she ever told Rini about this, or if she ever tried to raise Rini differently, or change anything to try and alter, especially in season R when Rini was like depressed and lonely, being lied to by Wise Man and stuff like that, then there would be no reason for Rini to go back to the past, and then she would never know that she had a daughter in the future, and that she was destined to become the ruler of Crystal Tokyo and have King I always say
the only thing with this one that I can cut it a bit of slack for is because Galaxia is on a fucking tear. I mean, in the previous volume, she appeared before Sailor Moon and was like, fuck your future. I'll change it. I'll change it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
So I can kind of like in more so in the previous volumes, I think it stood out a lot more then.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, I can kind of let it slide on this one, because it's the end of everything, both in terms of the end of the story and like if Galaxia wins, everyone's gonna die. But a little bit different though. Chibi. So, like, as Rini and the Amazons quartet, they originally go to Earth and they go looking for Luna and Artemis and Diana, and they're like, oh, cats are dead. They killed the cats too. And they're like, we see like the bright star in the sky and we know that's you, but how the fuck do we get there? and everyone's taking their turn saying it wasn't me that teleported you here, so it must have been Chibi, and they never outright say who Chibi is.
Mm-hmm.
My headcanon in the anime, which doesn't really work in the manga, but in the anime, I always thought it would be really cool if Chibi was like the embodiment of Galaxia as a child, and she's trying to push Sailor Moon to find Galaxia's starseed. Because if you remember how the anime ends, Sailor Moon pretty much pulls Galaxia out from chaos.
And she's kind of got the same color hair. Like she's got the pink, the blonde, and then the pink tips, right? And it's kind of the same color pink as Chibi. I see where you're going.
Well, because isn't like, wait a minute, in the it's been too long since I watched the anime. Isn't Chibi? Isn't she the starseed? Isn't she Galaxia's starseed? Oh, did I misremember that?
No, I think that's
in the anime. I swear it's been too long, but I swear in the anime she is the starseed. Like Galaxia's starseed was so powerful, it created another being because it was trying.
And she gives her the sword, and she's telling in the anime, she tells Sailor Moon, she says, "Kill Galaxia, like cut her fucking head off while you have the chance."
Yeah, like,
and Sailor Moon just won't do it.
Nope.
Because
she's powerful pulls her enough to do it, but she won't.
She pulls her out of the chaos because they have she stabs her through the wing, and then like you've got a chance, cut her head off, and she just won't do it. But they never outright say, like, they don't give a definitive answer who Chibi is. They don't even. We haven't even got to Cosmos yet, and they don't say who she is. But I think I have an idea of who she is, but they never say it. And of course, it being a manga, we got to have some Chibi moments, despite it's the end of everything. But we got to have some Sailor Moon says type moments. And that keeps going. And that pretty much brings us to Galaxia's.
Okay. This palace, I am not gonna lie, has Notre Dame vibes coming in like hard and fast, and I absolutely love it. Yeah. This very gothic Renaissance. I am here for it. I love the buttresses. I like the spires, the stained glass, the giant. I am here for it.
Pretty badass. Imagine like you head out for a night. You meet a girl. You want to come back home? She's like, "Oh, okay, sure." And then you just go, "Hey, this is where I live." Grapefruits on the second floor.
Oh, yeah, it's God. Like, hey, girl, you want to see my buttresses?
And of course, you got to have someone guarding the gates as well. So why not have other Sailor Guardians, right? And you know what? This is by this stage, everyone, apart from Sailor Moon, is being like, "Nah, fuck it. We just got to kill everyone to get our way, and it's the only way to stop it." Throughout the entire series, Sailor Moon, Usagi's been like, she's always been the last one to say, like, "No, there has to be another way. We don't have to do violence, even if it is like the end of everything." Even at this stage, she's still being like, "Nope, please, we don't have to kill anyone."
Because she has the right mentality. Like, what is the point of what is the point of trying to end evil if you have to commit evil in order to do it?
Right? Do the ends justify the means? Kind of
exactly.
Galaxia, fuck yeah.
Yeah, like all these other Sailor Scouts have that same mentality. They're like, look, if we have to sacrifice a few people along the way, then we have to sacrifice a few people along the way. And Serena is over here like, no, if anybody has to be sacrificed, we should be the ones that are sacrificed to protect them so that they don't have to go through this, or so that they're not sacrificed.
Another thing with that, and this is why I think Galaxia is the best villain, because she's a big contrast to Usagi. Usagi had a lot of support and a lot of friends. Galaxia was by herself throughout all of it, and they make a really good point of it in the anime. Usagi says to her, because you don't have to be alone anymore. She says when she pulls when Usagi pulls Galaxia out, she says, "You took on way too fucking much for just one person." Like, I can't begin to even imagine, just how depressed and how fucked up all of this has been through the entire since you let chaos in. But it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. And Galaxia's big mistake was, "I'll do it all myself." Because deep down, Galaxia isn't really that much of a villain deep down. You know, she did a lot of horrible shit, but she thought she was in the right. She didn't really want to, you know, hurt many people, but then ended up killing billions. It's kind of sad. That's why I love Galaxia, man. It's a sad story.
But that is like the actual true definition of a villain. Like most villains do not see themselves
as villains.
As villains. Like what the villains who do see themselves as villains, like, are sociopaths, like Joker. Joker knew he was evil and didn't care. But like the real villains are the ones who do not see themselves as the issue. They don't see themselves as the threat.
They think they're the virtuous ones.
Like, exactly.
Well, it's you see a lot of it even in our culture. I mean, obviously that's not the same as like genocide, but a lot of very well-meaning people have been really crazy these past few years. You know, like I have a lot of friends who are trying to be on the side of right, and in doing so, they're like literally trying to get people fired. You know, like they don't think they're the villains here; they think they're the heroes. So, like, I think any well-written villain is going to be somebody who has good intentions, or at least thinks they do. It's not fun to watch somebody who's like, I'm just evil to be evil and spread evil throughout the land, you know?
Twirl their mustache.
Yeah, it's just like, what's your motivation, bro?
Honestly, I kind of like, I wish villains were that easy to spot, like the twirling mustache, or like the woman with the like
metal armor skirt thing.
Yeah, or like I'm trying to think, like witches, like how they have the really big ugly nose and like the glassed over eyes. Like I wish villains were that easy to spot, but the problem is that a lot of people are the hero in their own story, and they have this. I honestly think it's probably less like dissociative identity disorder, and it's more of like a oh gosh, what is that? It's not a hero complex. Delusions of grandeur. I think they have these really big delusions of grandeur because they think that, like, if they go to this march, or if they do this, like, if they do this TikTok, or if they, you know, if they
before the record,
they make right, if they make,
because of the existence of TikTok, Galaxia was right.
Yes. All right,
possibly.
Well, then never mind. Yeah, I agree with you now, Lethal.
Yeah, we could probably that is a strong case for sure. But yeah, no, like I think a lot of these people actually have delusions of grandeur. They think that somehow using these platforms and saying certain things and trying to, you know, there's always like this attempt at going viral, but it's like they're trying to be they're trying to be wiser than they actually are. They're trying to seem really deep, and they're trying to seem really thoughtful, and they're trying to seem like this wealth of depth that people are missing or whatever, and they're somehow going to give this like 1 minute TikTok or this 6 minute YouTube video, and they're going to change the world with it, like Malcolm X or like Martin Luther King Jr. or George Washington, or Abe Lincoln, like whoever it is. They're like they have these delusions of grandeur because they're like, well, if I can get like 6 million people to watch my TikTok, and then it can get picked up on mainstream, and then my message will get out there, and I'll actually have an effect on people.
Well, isn't that what Galaxia is doing? Like Galaxia thinks she's the morally superior person.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm the only one who's noble and pure and good enough to handle this.
Strong enough to handle this.
I think even you two agree that in a one-on-one, she beats everyone except for Chaos. So she is the strongest in that regard. But she was given the absolute shittest hand at life, right? And then when she came into contact with Chaos and saw just how big of a threat this was, and just how big the entire universe was, she didn't actually pull out her phone and go, "Hi guys, Galaxia here on TikTok. Chaos really bad." She didn't do that. She made a decision, right, wrong, whatever. But at the time, she made a decision at what she thought was the right thing to do in order to stop Chaos from spreading further. Did the decision backfire on her? Fuck yeah. But most people would have just bitched out and being like, I'm not going to do what she did, man. Like to the extent of her going, I will let it envelop inside me because my powers are the only thing that can hold it back for any period of time. So she, in a way, was very selfless because she gave up herself in order to slowly prevent chaos spread in a cajillion hope that someone will come along and give her that extra boost she need. And that did eventually happen with Usagi. But if she didn't do it at that time, Usagi never would have had the chance to do that. Galaxia, let's go.
No, I think because like here's the thing, you can. Hey, all right. So I think because it's
an argument of morals.
Yeah, I know, but so because you're arguing it from Galaxia's point of view, and you can say that like yes, so yes, Galaxia individually is the strongest, but as Serena has proven, as Sailor Moon has proven, when it's not just you and you have your friends, you are able to overcome obstacles that were insurmountable before.
Galaxia didn't have friends.
That's Galaxia's problem. Like she should have gone out. She should have gone out. She should have been like, "Hey, you want to go to a bar? Cool, we're friends now." Like after a couple shots of tequila, it'd be like, "Cool, we're friends now. Hey, you need to go help me fight this absolute intergalactic soul-sucking nemesis that has created pretty much all of the other evil in existence because I can't do it myself. Like I can't destroy it myself."
But so if she did that, her friend would have died and she'd be responsible for that.
She killed billions of people. Like
after the fact.
But see, this is where we get into the trade-off. This is
why the anime, I think anime Galaxia does the Galaxia story a little bit better, because is it Galaxia doing it or is it Chaos just doing it with Galaxia's body?
Well, I mean, we can talk possession and stuff like that, or like, you know, two souls battling for one. And I'm not denying that Galaxia isn't strong, but my point would be that if Galaxia had simply asked for help, like that is the other thing that women seem to struggle. Like, I'm not sure if it was the same idea of, well, I need help and it's obvious that I need help. So if someone sees that I need help, they'll just simply help me and I won't have to ask. That is actually a thought process that goes through tons of women's mind. And that is why they get mad at like their men. They're like,
so what you're saying is if the Sailor Guardians were men, this whole thing would have been sorted out day one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely. We're going to go full, you know, misogyny and sexism on it, or patriarchy. I don't remember. I don't remember the buzzword.
Slap the shit out of it.
Exactly. But like what I'm saying is like actual thoughts.
Food real quick.
Okay.
I'll be right back. You guys keep arguing.
Sorry, Amanda. You feel free to, you can interject at any time.
Okay. I really wanted to get a popsicle.
Okay. You do you, girl. But no, what I'm saying is that there are women who get mad at their men because their men are not helping them, when these women are like, I am clearly struggling. Why isn't he coming over to help me? Like, I shouldn't have to ask for help. It's pretty obvious that I need it. Right? But to other people, it comes off as, oh, well, she's really strong, or she's really independent, or she always does things by herself. So she clearly doesn't need or want me to help her. So when Galaxia took that attitude of it has to be me because it's always me, she brought that upon herself. And because she went down that road, because she went down this typical, this very common, I suppose I won't say typical, this very common mindset.
Common today, maybe.
Yeah, very common mindset and path that she went down, where it should have been obvious to anyone looking in that Galaxia needed help, but they were all like, well, she's the strongest of us, so she can do it. Like, we don't need to step in. When in reality, she was literally begging for someone to be able to help her. But because Galaxia took on that mindset and she followed that path, she started being consumed by chaos, and she became the very thing that she was trying to avoid. she killed billions of people. Like, there's no justification for it. She's 100%.
Oh, there's no justification for killing the billions of people.
She's
but at the time,
100% a villainous. Like,
oh yeah, she's a villain. She's the best villain in the whole series. But there's a lot of depth to her, whereas the exact opposite of what you said before, where Barrel was all like, I'm going to take over and I'm going to rule and I'm going to fuck Tuxedo Mask and I'm going to have all this fucking, it's going to be big pogs. You know, I feel like there's just way, and the proof is the fact that we're even having this conversation now is that Galaxia just has so much more depth. And that makes a really good villain.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the fact that you can, like Amanda said before, a good villain, you should be able to, you either go full Joker where they just know they're fucking a psycho, or they should be able to just be like, look, here's her motivations. Her motivations are sound, and she does believe that she is a hero to an extent, but she has been corrupted by her own actions. In conclusion, nuke the ocean.
Nuke the ocean. Not nuking the ocean. That jellyfish will probably crawl onto land and kick all our asses. It's older than all of us. Like, I don't want to make
fuck it up.
I don't want to make it mad. Oy vey. But yeah, no, I get where you're coming from, and it's interesting too, because you are 100% coming from like Galaxia's point of view, like
yes,
her mentality.
I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. Yes.
Yes. So I understand what you're doing. It's still wrong. Like, she was still wrong. She is still evil. There's no justification for what she has done. Like, just on like, even if those like different planets and galaxies that she destroyed only make up 3% of the entire.
Well, that's still 3% of the universe dead. Then
that's what I'm saying. If they're like, well, it's just 3%. It's like, okay, but that's 3% of the entire universe that has just now been wiped out of existence. Like, there isn't any, like, a lot of people try to, like, will use statistics like that to sort of, dial, like, what is the word?
Don't worry, Amanda. We're getting towards the end of the debate. We're building the bridge. We're meeting in the middle.
Like, dialing, like, to try and like dial it down, they'll share a statistic. We'll be like, yeah, she killed like 30 billion people, but that's only 3% of the universe in its entirety. So in the big scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. Be like, no, that was 30 billion people. That's 3% of the universe that has just been wiped out of existence. And she is willing to go enslave and destroy the remaining 97%. So like I disagree with the fact that this was the only approach. This was simply the approach that she arrived at because she's never let anybody help her in the past, and she didn't know how to ask for help in this situation.
That's fair, but I still maintain there was no one to ask.
Queen Serenity was around. OG Queen Serenity.
Yeah, but that was over on our side of the universe. It's quite the far to travel.
Well,
and plus, I mean, chaos is there right now.
Well, when you're dealing with universe-ending chaos, I feel like a trip to Earth's moon would have probably been that's not even an evil thing to do. Like, if you can get all your people, I'd be like, look, I'm sorry, our home's gonna be destroyed, but if we flee now, we can go get help.
That's what the Starlights did.
Come back. That's what I'm saying. They were far, and they're definitely not Galaxia. But like, hey, let's flee. Let's go find help. Let's bring it back. And then
I think you're just being a little bit too harsh on her. Like you said, I'm trying to look at it from her point of view, in her shoes. Like, it's there right now. These are your
billions
options.
Of people, and I'm being harsh on her. Okay.
Yeah. What the fuck? Chill out, Lady G. It's only 3%.
It's only 3% of the universe. 30 billion people. It's not that big of a deal. I guess, for me, I guess for me, especially when you're in life and death situations, if you ever have to deal with that, if you ever have to face it, I can only speak for myself, but I would never trade my life, like for me to survive, for someone else's death if I can prevent it. So like if it comes down to it's me or this person, and I'm not talking like on a one-on-one fight where like we're fighting each other, it's actually to the point where, hey, this is a situation, only one of us is getting out alive. It's not like a hero act. It's not like a self-sacrifice act. I just know that if a situation like that arises, when those situations come up, I look at it as where either if it's something that if I can help even just one person where they don't have to go through that kind of suffering or they don't have to go through that kind of torment, I will do everything in my power to make sure that they don't, because I don't think I could live with myself knowing that this other person was tortured, maimed, or killed for me, if that makes any sense.
I am not trying to say that Galaxia is a good person.
Disclaimer.
I just think with everything that happened to her and the fact that these conversations can happen about her is proof that she's the best villain in the series.
I still love Beryl, but I will concede that Galaxia is my number 2. I will meet you on the bridge halfway. I will give
you
Galaxia
say that
number
Galaxia
2.
has more depth than Beryl, though?
I mean, their motivations are actually strikingly similar. Like, where it's
hey,
kind of
Beryl
like,
was just trying to get laid.
I was saying,
yes.
Beryl just had a crush on Tuxedo Mask, right?
Yes. Well, like, because here's the thing, though. Like, when I say that they're strikingly similar, I mean that their actual, like, their viewpoints, their mentalities are similar. Where
You think all
like,
women are the same?
Yeah, all women are the same.
And we're not unique individuals with our own thought processes.
Nope, it's all just a hive mind. We've cracked the code for all the men, Amanda. We've got it.
We're all just part of the Borg.
Just part of the Borg. But yeah, no, I think like when it came to, so when I say strikingly similar, I mean like the methods that they used. So it's kind of like how and I'm only using this as an example to touch on very briefly. We're not going to get into any political thing or anything like that. But the far left and the far right have like so much in common. It's just that their executions are different. So when it comes to Beryl and Galaxia, they have, I mean,
no depth in the manga. Brian, are you on crack? Have you been watching the same stream? Go on.
No, but what I'm saying, like, I think where Beryl is, it's purely narcissism and like it's lust, it's narcissism, and it's vanity. A lot of lust, a lot of narcissism, a lot of vanity. But her methods were very much the same. Like she wanted to rule the universe under one banner, her be the only her be the only authority, there'd be no dissenters, so that technically means there would be no war, there'd be no anything else, because it would just be her. And then you get to Galaxia, where even if you look at her motivations, where she was the only thing strong enough to contain chaos, so where her so you swing to the other side of this like pendulum or this circle where it kind of comes back around. She was like, I am the only one strong enough. I am going to take this on myself, and I am going to lock this away. And I know that it will slowly deteriorate. So I'm going to go through, if I can get the universe under my control before chaos takes over, there'll be nothing for him to destroy.
But Beryl is part of chaos.
Well, no, like Beryl was created like through chaos, but
she was born in the cauldron.
Yeah. So like it's not born technically. It's more like she's still her own separate entity, though. Like it's not like she was walking around with a piece
she's not an avatar. For
yeah. So it's like she is technically her own entity, and so like that being, since Galaxia is was created outside of chaos, is not born of chaos, and so she contained chaos inside of her. But she still, same mentality. Get the silver crystal, get the universe under my control, have no dissenters, have no war. There'll be nothing for chaos to destroy because I will already have it under my grip.
Barrel's whole play was just to get dicked.
Well, no, it was.
From what I've learned from this, women have two options. They either wipe out the universe or they wipe out the universe trying to get laid.
That's basically it.
Pretty much. It's either we live happily ever after or everybody faces our wrath. Like, there's kind of no in between because, again, we're just a hive mind, right, Amanda?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Lady G and I this whole time have been communicating.
Yep.
I believe all women were born in the cauldron. Were born in the cauldron of chaos.
You're gonna have angry feminists.
What do you think the C for my middle name stands for?
Cauldron.
Chaos.
Chaos, dude.
Chaos.
You want to know something really freaky? My middle initial is C.
Oh, snap. Every woman's middle initial is C. You're like, my eyes are open. It was right in front of me the whole time. They're agents of chaos.
Oh, boy. See, Amanda, this is what it's like being a fan of stuff. You just argue with people. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I love nothing and no one.
Hey, can't argue with anyone then.
Oh no, she's gonna go full barrel. Listen, Amanda, it's okay.
I'm going to steal myself a boyfriend.
And when he says no, I'm gonna wipe out planet Earth.
Yeah, I'll wipe out his memory, and then if that doesn't work, then I'll wipe out planet Earth.
Dude, for real, like, I mean, the only reason Diamond is slightly worse than Beryl is because he did undress and.
Hello?
Beryl
cut out.
Literally...
You cut out at undress.
Yeah, we were like.
What happened after the undress?
Undressed Serena, Sailor Moon. So that's the only reason Diamond is worse.
Galaxia might have wiped out billions and trillions of people, but she never sexually assaulted anyone.
That's what I was saying. But like the reason that's the reason Diamond is slightly worse of just like an entity in itself than Beryl, because he literally undressed and redressed Serena without her consent or knowledge. And I mean, Beryl, yeah, she wiped out Tuxedo Mask's memory.
This is when he slaps him.
Get a hold of yourself.
He slaps the shit out of him. And if you look at his hand, it's a backhand.
Yeah. Like,
one of these days, pow, right to the moon.
But yeah, like it's the thing about
back to the moon kingdom.
Back to the moon. We're gonna go like Beryl wiped my memory with magic. I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way and knock you back into the moon kingdom. But yeah, you get into this idea of like Beryl literally tried to get false consent from Tuxedo Mask by wiping his memory. Yes, false consent.
That's a thing?
It's a thing.
I always just went with the theory if you gag them, they can't say no.
Wait, what?
Can't say.
What's false consent?
Okay.
What is false consent?
I'm trying to think like if I track.
So like it's uninformed consent essentially, but because his memory.
Consent.
Yes. So that's like
it's like if you're like, oh well, the baby's yours, so we should get married and bone, or I don't know, like you do things under false pretenses or something.
Yes. Okay. So you do not have that's why it says fully informed consent is a big thing in the medical field, especially. You need to have informed consent, and a lot of people argue that in the medical field informed consent is impossible because there's so much that you can't really like understand or know unless you have years of medical practice. But if I was to say,
D-Day Direwolf, I am going to molest you, is that full consent because I've explained everything?
I mean, if he gives his, I guess if he gives his consent for you to molest him,
well, it
then
wouldn't be molesting then.
Yeah, then it wouldn't be molesting. So like that's the thing, when you do stuff without any consent, you are obviously acting. You're acting in that villain form. You are taking advantage of someone. You're stripping them of their like their free will and their power over their own
Ooh,
body and whatnot. But when you only give like partial, it's kind of like telling a half truth, where like Amanda said, it's like, oh well, you're, you know, you have to be the father because you're the only one that I've been with for, you know, X amount of weeks or whatever. But she knows that she might be further along, or there could be someone else. But she's like, if I don't say it out loud and we don't get a paternity test, it doesn't really hurt anybody because we'll be together, the baby will have parents, and we'll be fine. But that's uninformed consent, or like false. He is giving consent to stay in this relationship and raise this child under false pretenses. So he's not really giving, like, he's not actually giving consent or full consent. It's like, it's consent under false pretenses.
So like, it'd be like if Lethal was like, hey, D-Day, hey, blindfold yourself because I'm gonna grape for you. And then he just, I don't know, used a banana instead or something.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Even Galaxia wouldn't do that.
So you'd be the real supervillain here, like, because you informed him of one thing, he agreed to that, and then you switched it out on him, kind of like that's.
I set my standards. Is this too far for Galaxia? That's my standards.
Oh my god, there's not too. I mean, there's not much that she's not okay with. Like she
wouldn't
again,
do that. That's not
wiped
cool.
out billions of people, but you know, wouldn't lie about stuff like that. Of course,
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's
gone too far.
But yeah, so like
you don't
like,
banana someone. You don't banana a man without asking.
But it's, I mean, that's sort of where we're at. Like Beryl basically under false pretenses was attempting to get Tuxedo Mask's consent to like
okay, that is
be
true.
with her.
Now that I understand false consent.
Yeah, I meant to say
false consent.
I meant to say uninformed consent, but like my brain it started to wig out on me. But that's what I mean when I said false consent. Like it's he can't consent to it because he does not have the facts. He is uninformed.
Hey, in the anime, I don't remember her transforming. In the anime, she was kind of just there, then fucking died.
No, she threw a giant fireball and then died.
Yeah, didn't she get one tapped by Galaxia?
Yes, she definitely did.
In the stadium?
Yes. So basically she throws out this, if I am, again, it's been a while since I've seen the anime, but basically she throws out this giant fireball and the Sailor Starlights and even like they all think that she's going to be able to like take on Galaxia because it's this huge
yeah, it's like
big,
some
beautiful, it's like
thing.
massive, and they're like, oh my gosh, she really is the Super Sailor Scout. She is the Princess of Legend, and then she just gets like wiped out pretty quick.
But she didn't transform though, did she?
Not that I remember.
No, I don't remember her transforming either. But she does here, and then she throws cards at people. So that's pretty cool.
Very Yu-Gi-Oh! The Heart of the Cards.
Yeah. I summon morality debate in attack mode and end my turn. Oh, yeah, and then she gets stabbed in this one. Yeah. She gets straight up fucking impaled.
Through the back, too.
We haven't had an impaling since the first volume, I think.
Uh-huh.
When Usagi shanked Tuxedo Mask and shanked herself, Romeo and Juliet style.
Yep.
Yeah, we're talking murder-suicide, boys and girls. That's why the manga's a bit different.
Mm-hmm. That's why there's a lot edited out in the anime, so this could be on Toonami.
The manga's built different.
We are not the same. Yeah, she gets shanked, dies in Usagi's arms. That tends to happen a lot. A lot of dying in her arms these days. And yeah, she gives like, this is one of those panels again where it just pops a little bit more. Oh, this is what I was going to mention at the start. Because everyone's fucking dead in this, you don't see any. Well, you do a bit, but there's very little of the other Guardians. It's mostly just Sailor Moon throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Again, they're doing that really like, and I know that this was not on accident. It's because Galaxia walked this path alone, and so it's trying to like Serena is like this she's very solitaire. She's very, she feels kind of abandoned, even though her friends have died. Obviously, they didn't like abandon her.
They didn't abandon her. They died, Lady G. It's a bit different.
But what I'm saying is like she's in this state of like abandonment and solitude, and she's very lonely. And Galaxia uses that. Galaxia uses that to try and prove to Sailor Moon every point that you were trying to make, Lethal, about how
there's only those who like only the strongest could contain chaos. It had to be just me, this, that, and the other. And then Serena knows that the power of love and friendship that she has through this entire.
They did not have the same opportunity.
Look, I'm just saying it wouldn't have been hard for Galaxia to go find a ride or die, okay?
Nah, she smells bad. She smells bad. No one wants to hang out with her.
Oh, my word.
They don't have showers on her planet.
How was your popsicle, Amanda? Because it looked nummy.
Oh, no, I finished the popsicle. This is, I have a weird collection. This is okra.
Ooh, yum.
What is okra?
Is it fried or what is okra? It's a vegetable.
It's a weird vegetable. It's like slimy and has seeds in it, and some people hate it. But if you're in the South, you love it.
Something that looks like a pepper, but is not a pepper.
I'm in the southern hemisphere, in the great southern land, in the southern state. You're all northerners to me.
It's supposed. I said it was fried, but I guess it's like fried, like in the Asian style or something, which is just sautéed. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
I was just saying, they're not in it a whole lot, but yeah, here they are.
Yep.
But it's not really them though.
Well, no, but it's like
they're golems.
With us, Sailor Moon, it's all about togetherness with her.
Now you'll deal with us because there are golems created.
Yeah,
with some of their powers.
But I mean, it's still all about togetherness with her because even when they're dead, they all come at her as a team.
Yeah, they fuck her up. This is why Galaxia is awesome. She's like, oh, you got friends, do you? It'd be a shame if someone was to come and murder them right in front of you and then create golems with their powers and have them attack you. Wouldn't that suck? Fucking buzz. Based Galaxia.
So was still better or worse than banana-ing or cucumbering someone?
Well, is it under false consent?
I mean, I guess, did she say up front, I'm going to murder your friend? Like, did she lay out this whole plan up front?
Pretty much. She kind of came down and
she pretty much told him, she was like, hi, I'm Galaxia. I'm here to ruin your shit. Please sign here.
I mean, she didn't get the full picture. Like, ruin your shit could be a fun time, depending on, like, what you're into. So I'm just saying, like, she might have been
That's why she signed it.
Yeah.
And it's called false consent. I've learned something today.
Yeah, there we go. So
it's uninformed consent. False consent is wrong. Please don't go say false consent to people. It is uninformed consent. Mm-mm. That is the proper terminology.
No. Say false consent, and then you can act superior when people don't know what you mean. Because it's like they're behind the times. Like, you don't know what false consent is?
You know what? I'm going to tweet that out right now. Today I learned what false consent is.
No.
And now I'm better than you.
Now I'm better. Your altruism is truly inspiring, Amanda. I love it.
Mm-hmm. False consent.
It's basically what it's.
And now I am better than you.
That's basically all it is. Like, whenever they come up with these new terms, like, I remember it was like 2 years ago when it was like people of color became BIPOC. And I'm like, I remember to me, it feels like a speakeasy where they change the password. So it's like, that's the only way that they can know who's still hip and with it is like, oh, you don't know the new password. You can't get in.
New password.
Yep. Yep. So that's what it is. So it's not informed consent anymore. It's false consent. Educate yourself. See, now she's in her, like, she's gone through her emo phase. Now she's kind of back to, like, her, like, she got, are those little, the 90s chokers she's got?
Yes.
And around her hair, too.
It was just a phase, Mum. I'm sorry. Please don't cancel my credit card, Mum.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. All right, so they all see that it's the inners and the outers. They don't know that it's golems yet, but she's stoked to see him. She's like, oh, fuck yeah, you're all still alive. Even though it's very clear from the last panel that they're there to kill her, but she's just happy to see them because that's why Usagi is one of the best.
Yeah, she's a little stupid.
She's dumb as fuck, let's be real.
It is so hard for it, like, because she's so wise when she's Neo Queen Serenity, but then you look at her now and you're like, you are just a stupid teenager.
This is why Tuxedo Mask slaps her every chance he gets. He's like, God damn, you are fucking dumb.
Oh, that man has got the patience of a saint. Like, can you imagine being like, look, I'm destined to be with you. I'm going to need you to not be a dumb flake.
Yeah, it'd be rough. This is one of my favorite panels in the whole volume. I love this one because
look at Jupiter. She's got that sass. She's like, I'm here to kill you.
Dude, Mars's hair, like, again, so Mars, there's just like, even because I mean Pluto's hair is out there too, but there's something about like Mars is just a little bit higher than everybody else's. It's a little bit more
so
flowy.
Me and Lady G have had this theory. Sailor Mars is the author's favorite because every time she's on page, it just seems to be a little bit of extra effort put into drawing her.
Because like even look at the way she's standing. All the rest of them either have like their legs are linear, right? So, but when you look at Mars, she's got like hers is cocked out to the side, like in a power stance. Whereas like you've got Uranus who's doing like the typical V, or and then Neptune is doing like that sort of side lean, and then Jupiter has like her hip kind of, like Amanda was saying, she's got the sass going on. But when you look at Mars, that is a legit power stance that is meant to intimidate people.
Yeah, she's got that fucking.
See what I mean? She has a leg. Her leg is coming forward. Like Jupiter's is cocked out to the side, and even Uranus's, which is sort of like hers, is more of like that. Uranus's legs are, or Neptune's legs are like crossed. So it's not so much that she's stepping forward. It's more like she's stepping sideways and they're sort of crossed and a little bit feminine. Mars is stepping forward. She's being very aggressive. She's being very much asserting like dominance, essentially, about how like she's going to step forward and start this whole thing or whatever. None of the other ones are that way.
Just going back to a point we've made a million times. So you're saying that Neptune's is a bit more feminine, while Uranus is a bit more masculine?
I believe that if like
masculine's just, Uranus is just kind of letting it hang out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Based.
Also, we are at the gazelle legs again because, like, good God, look at those things. They're just like, they're massive. We don't have giraffe necks, but we definitely have gazelle legs.
If I was Usagi, I'd see these two on the right standing next to each other. I'd be like, we're fucked. You seriously got them two standing next to each other?
Death
so this
and
bitch
time.
is in charge. So this bitch is in charge of death and rebirth, and this bitch is in charge of time and space. Okay, see ya. Peace. Nice knowing y'all.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, just the amount of power that's standing there right in front of her. You can't tell me that they couldn't have taken on Chaos if they had actually worked
they'd
together.
get bodied. Could you imagine if Chaos took over Saturn and then Chaos was like, this Scythe does what? Oh, let's go.
Let's do it. No, but I think like the problem is I blame Uranus and Neptune for so many things, but quite frankly, the fact that the outers, because like the whole idea that they have to remain separate, that's Uranus and Neptune pushing it. Like Pluto has always loved the inner. I mean, that was apparent in R. Like she's always loved the inners. She's loved her moon princess, and she adores Rini. So like, it's like the fact that the outers have to be like this separate functioning cell or this separate entity. That is Saturn or that's Neptune and Uranus is doing. That's not Saturn and Pluto's, and it's really sad because. That is the reason that they aren't as strong as they could be, because if they would simply unite and not have a secret agenda or, look down on the inners and not share everything with them, they would have been so much more powerful and been able to do so much more stuff. Like, could you imagine? I think there's even an anime episode with it, but like if Uranus and Jupiter just started to like beat the ever-loving piss out of some guy, like, he wouldn't stand a chance between the two of them. Like, they're powerful on their own, but when the two of them get together, if they could
be fair, most people would not be able to be two against one.
Well,
I'm just saying.
While true, I don't know. Like, I've seen like 4 chicks take on one guy, and he basically tuxedo masked them, just like backhand. Yeah. Pretty much, just freaking poof, lays them out. I mean, I don't know
I don't know if you've ever taken a left cross or a right hook from a dude, but it's kind of like getting hit by a freight train. It's not fun.
What did you do to deserve
Oh,
that?
don't ask. Last time I asked her, she asked me if I got shot at with lasers, and like, that's just never happened.
Oh my god, would you let the laser guns go?
No.
No, I simply asked if they'd ever been shot at, and then I got lectured. Disbury was like, no, we do not find ourselves in situations where we're frequently getting shot at.
Wait, but have you ever gotten a left hook or whatever you said?
Oh yeah, many times.
Oh, is this something we need to talk about off stream? Do we need to call you some help?
It was
nothing like that.
It was false consent.
Yeah, Lethal was like, I thought she was into it. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I had the other day. I was like, you want me to do what? Oh, okay.
I did.
Pipes isn't even here. I'm talking shit about it. He's in bed.
I can't even, I cannot. But no, it's just different training stuff that you do. I will put this kindly. Different training stuff that you do. 9 times out of 10, if I ever did self-defense, like if I ever had to use self-defense anything in the real world, it is most likely going to be, if it's a physical altercation, it's most likely going to be against a guy. Mm-hmm. So you have to know what it's like to get hit by a guy, so you know how you react.
So it doesn't throw you. Okay, so do you do like Krav Maga or something where they actually, or
stuff like that?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I was like, are you okay?
It's very much like getting hit by a freight train. Not a good time.
When did you get hit by a freight train?
Yeah, how do you compare it?
How do I compare it? Well, I've seen what a freight train can do to a gallon of milk, and that's kind of what my jaw felt like.
I don't know. I think we should have just left it at the grapefruits, to be honest.
I'm also very interested to see what scenario were you in where was this also Krav Maga where you saw 4 girls take on a guy, or was this just like at a bar?
No, that was, oh God in heaven. Women really irritate me. So this girl was hitting. So yes, we were out and about, but I was at a street fair, and I was enjoying the food. Like, I go to street fairs for the food, literally. It's not for the games. It's not for the drink. It's not for the music even. I love food, and food at street fairs is amazing. Most times. So I'm sitting there, and I'll never forget this because I was very upset. I had a caramel funnel cake, and I had never had one before. Basically, it's not caramel drizzled funnel cake. No. It was caramel, so they fried it, and then they put the caramel inside the funnel cake, and then they dusted it with like the powdered sugar and whatnot. And they added a little bit of sea salt. So you literally got like a salted caramel funnel cake, and it was incredible. And then these chicks were like, "Oh
no, you cut out."
Like, he's in the process of drinking a beer. He's like, I wasn't actually.
Wait, go back. You cut out. You said the chicks were like, and then
the chicks were like, you were eyeballing our friend, and the guy is literally like throwing back, like he's drinking a beer, and he's like, I actually wasn't. And they're like, oh my God, yes you were. Like, we're gonna teach you a lesson. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And I'm just sitting there eating my funnel cake, and I'm like, oh my God, like, he easily has 100 pounds on every single chick here, or every single chick that I'm looking at, except the 300-pound whale at the end of this line, who is apparently the one he was eye goggling, right? And so he
likes the BBWs,
right? And I'm like,
that's not that funny.
That's pretty funny. God. That's pretty funny. Number 2 only to grapefruit jokes.
But yeah, so like they started to, like, one chick had hot coffee, and she literally threw it on him.
Oh my God. And wait, this is a guy that they just walked up to?
Yeah, guy in the street. Yep.
Just enjoying his beer, like having a good time. Fuck.
just chilling, and they're like, you were eyeballing her, and he's like, no, I wasn't. And they're like, you're a liar, you're this, you're that, like, we're gonna teach you a lesson, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I just want to eat my funnel cake in peace. Like, why do the crazy
You're caught in the middle, like
I know, like, why do the crazy bitches always like, what is it? Like, is there a full moon? Please go away. I just want to eat my food. But no, so like they're walking up to it, and I'm just like, I'm still standing by the cart because he's on the left side of me, and they're coming from the right, and I'm sitting there with my caramel funnel cake. I'm like, I just want to eat my food. This was $9. Like, please leave me alone. And so she throws his hot coffee on him, and that is when I dropped my funnel cake. And because like that is assault. Like, you can't dump anything.
That's literally like you could go to jail.
Yeah, they did go to jail, but yeah,
okay. I'm sorry, didn't mean to spoil it.
No, you're totally fine. But she threw the hot coffee on him. I dropped my funnel cake, but he was already like, he had wailed back, and he freaking backhanded the crap out of her. And then the other ones jumped on him, and so like I grabbed one's hair, and I like pulled her off and threw her over to the side. But he just like, I don't even know where it came from, because I'm not lying, that other chick was huge. He basically just like hulked the other two off of him. Like, just went raw. And then of course security comes running over, and they're like, you need to come with us, sir. Like, we're gonna detain you, whatever. And so
it's good you were there then to be like, yeah, that's not how this went down.
Right. Well, and thankfully other witnesses started talking too. But like, one chick came forward and was like, do not put ice on it. Like, because, ice makes burns worse. And so he's like, I need an ice pack. She threw it. Like, I think she was aiming for his crotch, but she hit his stomach.
Ah.
So like, he's like, I need ice. Like, this
not even
burns.
Galaxia would do that.
She's like, I need, right? He's like, I need ice. It burns. And I was like, I knew that ice made it worse, but this other chick, who I think was actually like an EMT or a medic or something, she's like, no, like, ice is gonna make it worse. And so she ran to one of the other like food stands or whatever, and got a rag and just like wet it down with cool water and placed it over the burn, and was like, don't move this, because you'll start to like, she went through all the technical medical stuff. And but she only got there after the cop got up there, even though she saw what had happened. And then she gave her statement, I gave mine, he gave his. And then the chick who threw the coffee got arrested. And then I didn't know this at the time, but the big chick had bit him and drew blood. I was like, God dang. So yeah, bitches be crazy, y'all.
Man, I wish these people had been there. There's crazy people in the world who actually deserve that shit. Like, I've had weird guys on the subway literally like groping me, and I froze, and people just were watching. I'm like, why couldn't those crazy bitches be there throwing their coffee? Right. Then they'd be like,
throw the coffee on him.
Have you ever had anyone like apart from me, of course, that's like an over the top fan?
No, because I'm bigger. I'm like 5'8", and I'm pretty stocky. Like I've seen them do it to my friends, like my petite voiceover friends, because it's like they can, but I feel like thankfully there's been guys who've put their hands a little too low during pictures, but I'm like, you know what? He might just be socially awkward. I'm gonna assume the
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that he probably didn't mean it. But no, I've some of my voice actor friends have had like guys like try to follow them back to their hotel rooms. They had one where like he was like banging on the door, and like she wouldn't let him in. So then he went down to the front desk and like was like, "Hey, my girlfriend's asleep, and I'm trying to get into my room. Can you give me an extra key?" And thankfully, they had the presence of mind to call up to the room. She's like, "No, I don't know him. Do not let him in." He like kept going up. He wouldn't leave her alone. So eventually, they had to get security, and then they had to like remove him, and then they had to like lock down that floor, move her to another room so that nobody could see like where she was, so that nobody could tell that guy. But like, yeah, it was some of my another one of my voiceover friends got kissed by a guy. Like, she was taking a picture, and like he like turns and just like he's like tongued her. Like, so there's creeps, equal opportunity creeps out there.
Fuck yeah. But nothing bad ever happened. What would you say is the worst thing that's ever happened
in life or at a con? Or I don't know.
History of the universe.
Yeah,
I mean like just like a crazy fan. Like, you ever had anyone stalk?
Not really. I don't think I've had like there's like I have like fans who are like very overzealous and they'll like find everything I do, but like that's not really stalking. That's just being like, oh hi, okay, yep, you're commenting on my Facebook and this on this and this and this in the same post. Okay, that's fine. But like that's not stalking. That's no, I can't think of anything too creepy, thank goodness.
So you're saying I'm gonna be the first.
Yeah, no, you were definitely the creepiest. No, when I was, I mean, sometimes, but this isn't just me. Like they'll, and it's not even creepy. It's more just like annoying. But sometimes when you get off a flight, they'll be sitting there waiting for you at baggage claim, and they'll like try to get you to sign a bunch of stuff. And like usually I'll sign something. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. But they'll have like 20 Funkos, and they're gonna sell them on eBay. I'm like, bro, people are like paying to go to the con. Like, why do you get like all this stuff for like? You know, and then if you don't do what they want, they'll start filming you and make it look like you're some sort of like diva. So like that's
Man is an asshole.
You're stuck
it's like,
up. It's like
yeah,
she ignores fans. She's too good for fans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she won't sign her stuff. It's like, bro, I already signed like several items. Like, go away.
Be like, okay, you're holding 2 Funko Pops. What about the 35 in the bag that I have already signed?
Right. Yeah. Well, they wouldn't post that part on the internet. That's the thing.
No.
Like they'll post the stuff that makes you look bad. But thankfully that only happened a couple times for me.
Well, I will happily deck a guy for you. It's fine.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you grabbed that bitch's hair. You're just like, no, I dropped my funnel cake for this.
And I will stalk you to make you, so that way you can say you've had one.
I appreciate that because I'm kind of like, what's wrong with me? You know, like
nothing's wrong with you. You give off a different energy. Probably like you give off Sailor Jupiter vibes. Like I'll literally beat your ass. Like
I mean, I definitely like. I'm sure I do give off the vibe of like, don't do it.
It's not in your best interest. You should stop now. No, I will.
Is Amanda gonna have to smack a bitch?
I mean, like it's interesting. I'm actually very conflict averse, which is weird. Like when the neighbor was pounding on my door being like, go out with me, and I'm like, no thank you. Like I should have opened it in the first place, but I didn't want to be mean. Like, so it's funny that like, the vibe is that I don't fuck with me, but in reality I'm like, oh no thank you, I'm good. I should have been like, fuck you, it's midnight, don't be banging on my door, you creep, and slammed the door. But I was like, oh no, I'm good now.
So really, I would not have opened the door, but they would have heard my pump action shotgun from the other side. I am not conflict averse at all.
I have my shotgun, but it was under my bed. I probably shouldn't be telling people on the internet that in case anybody tries.
But it's been lost in a river now.
Yeah.
It fell off the boat in the river.
But like I had the shotgun, but it wasn't right there. And even then, I don't know if I would have the balls to actually use it because my brain will always try to be like, well, maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe that whenever bad things happen to me, that's always why they happen to me, is because I don't just act. I don't assume the worst. I'm like, oh, well, maybe like the guy like rubbing himself on me on the subway. I'm like, maybe he's blind. I don't know. My brain was like, maybe he doesn't realize what he's rubbing on. And I kept leaning away and he kept like leaning closer. I'm just like, oh, maybe.
No, that makes sense. I mean, that is a completely normal reaction. It's a survival mechanism. It's how you deal with the situation so that you like don't snap and actually go Galaxia on people.
Right. Meanwhile, and then it's actually a situation where the guy literally wasn't doing something. And then I'm the crazy person. Then I'm the coffee throwing bitch, you know? So.
Well, to be fair, like the way that the way that one of my instructors, especially like, and this has served me very well for several situations. I don't know if Mara's still in the chat, but if she is, I hope she can back me up on this. It is always much better to like definitely like enforce and assert your boundaries, even if it makes like, even if people are like, oh my God, like that's really insane, or that like, yeah. But it is always better to do it so that people know where those lines are.
Yeah.
And then if they want to continue the conversation with you, you can explain that, hey, these are the boundaries and they exist for a reason. And I don't make exceptions, period. It's always better to do that, because here's the thing, if those boundaries drive people off, then you don't want those people there. That's why those boundaries exist. And if the person hangs around, then you can explain like, hey, this is why, this is how. Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. Cause he like, after I closed the door on him, he's like, I'll come back tomorrow. And And I'll pick you up at 6. I'm like, no. And I was like, no, thank you. I closed the door and I didn't lock it and turn on my home security system because I didn't want him to feel bad. I didn't want him to hear me lock it. So I figured I'd wait for him to leave and then lock it. It's like, bitch.
So you are an empath to like almost an nth degree.
No, it's definitely self-detrimental. Like, it's like I should have just been like, bye, and then also been like, like whatever. But like, yeah. And then he kept knocking. Yeah, so I'm an idiot. I need to somebody said I need to turn off my lady brain, and I definitely do.
You're not an idiot. I mean, you can definitely be like, you don't have to do the shotgun. There are very ladylike ways to tell someone to F off. Like literally
wipe out 3% of the galaxy.
Yeah, you can wipe out there's a start.
3. Just like the 3% was just a warning shot for Galaxia.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, you could literally, like, the next time that someone tries something like that on you, you can simply look at them and be like, unless you are a cat who is mistaking me for a humping post, you need to back up at least 3 steps, and then maybe we can have a conversation. If that's not something that you're capable of doing, then you need to remove yourself entirely from my space. Like, you're making it very clear that you're uncomfortable, you don't like what they're doing, the actions that they're doing are inappropriate, but you've not called them any names, you've not cocked any shotguns, but you've made it very clear that you're not going to stand for whatever it is that they're doing. You just have to not be afraid to say it.
Yeah, I'm working on it. But yeah, even then, and it took me 20 minutes to call the cops because I was like, maybe he'll leave. I have to live next to these people. They might retaliate because my neighborhood's a little ghetto. So I was like, oh, okay. And then, yeah.
Your neighborhood's ghetto. Your shotgun should be by the door.
It should be by the door. Well, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, it's going to be under my bed because I imagine it's going to happen. If somebody breaks in my house, it's going to be at night. It's going to be while I'm sleeping. So I want to be able to be like, yep.
Okay, so it's a good mentality, but the thing is, so because the shotgun, unless it's sawed off, which is illegal in most states, so do not admit that it's sawed off as if it is, but because the barrel is so long, here's the issue. When you get within, that's why they always say it's like the 5-foot rule. If someone with a knife, if you have a gun and they have a knife, especially if it's a long barrel gun, if they get within 5 feet of you, you lose your advantage because you can't shorten that weapon because, the barrel has to go into the pocket of your shoulder. So if they can get within that circle, they have the advantage. Yeah, they have the advantage over you. Now, of course, you can turn the shotgun into a blunt object. Like, you can turn it into like a
melee weapon.
Yeah, like basically a melee weapon, but that's not what it's designed for. So you've lost the advantage of your firearm. So it's always like, so the weapons that any woman should own, especially for self-defense, you should own basically what's called a pea shooter. It's one of those little itty bitty ones that can like strap to your ankle and like you can hide
like
in your pants,
like a little derringer, like a little steampunk thing that's
like a little steam. Yes,
on my thigh, where I'm like, sir.
Yes, exactly.
Remove yourself from the situation.
Yes, or I will remove yourself for you. Exactly. Yeah. So you should have like a little pea shooter. You should have a sidearm, a semi-auto sidearm, and you should have a revolver because revolvers don't
Wait, a revolver, really? Oh, yeah.
Revolvers are very
Sorry, Lethal. We know you're not allowed to have guns in your country.
Yeah.
Can't join in.
Too many assault charges for me. They won't give me shit in any country.
You're like, I couldn't get them in America either. I'm a wanted man.
Galaxia was right.
Galaxia was right. But yeah, basically, so you should have the pea shooter, the pistol, the semi-automatic firearm, which is just a pistol. It's just a regular pistol that you see, a revolver, and then one shotgun and one rifle. So
all right. I might need to go gun shopping with you then, because I definitely want to get because in Georgia you can do concealed carry. I mean, you could do it before, but now you can just do it. And I would like to have one with me.
Yeah,
just in case.
It's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah, I hope I never have to use it. But like Atlanta is, there was a girl that got kidnapped and murdered on my street. Like,
there you go.
Within the last year, like just
Speaking of kidnap and murder, Galaxia. I don't think Galaxia ever kidnapped anyone though. Did she, Lethal?
Beryl did.
Beryl did. Galaxia did
Beryl
not.
was a fucking monster. Galaxia.
Galaxia just murdered everybody. She didn't kidnap. She enslaves you. That's not the same thing as kidnapping.
Yeah,
though,
it's not the
really.
same, is it?
It's not.
So, no.
She has you living as like a constant hostage, I guess.
Yeah.
Apart from that, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, I guess she doesn't kidnap you and take you somewhere. She literally is like, I'm coming to you, and now you are mine. Like, so
No.
she just, it's different.
You
She's
can
not
either
removing you to her.
either come with me or
die.
you can die. Those are your choices.
Right.
I don't know if that
Well, actually, most of the time it's come with me and then you'll die later.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
There you
die
go.
now or die later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So where we at? Okay.
One of the infamous bracelets. There we go.
Yep. So they're all fighting golems that were like created out of the inners and outers. Even Tuxedo Master's getting in on the action, and I'm sure he wants to give her a smack for all the dumb shit that she's done. And then they keep going in, and eventually they get past them all and get up into the what would you call this? Like the main chamber, I guess.
Yeah. Like almost like the Great Hall or something.
Great Hall. Yeah. And Galaxia is there. And this is where the whole step on me mummy thing happens. See, there she looks evil. Before she didn't look evil.
She literally just has clothes on. Like her hair's up under the thing.
Well, but Amanda, you and I both know that an outfit can completely alter.
I get it. Yeah. A little makeup, a little like whatever is witchcraft.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And
But
this is when
she does look pretty badass here, though.
She does.
Oh yeah, that panel's fucking. The whole page is good. Slim figure, and this is something I said about on the last one. I like how she isn't some how she isn't like fucking 100 feet tall.
Yeah.
She's just like average height.
She's probably like in Japanese size, like so everybody's like, "Oh, Sailor Jupiter's so tall. She's so tall. She's a giant." If you look at the fake statistic, like when
the wiki page,
the wiki page, like it says that Sailor Jupiter is 5'6". I'm 5'8", so if she's a giant, then what am I? And then like Sailor Moon and all the other girls are like 5 feet, 4'9".
Yeah.
Like so, it's like
I think Venus is the next tallest one, and she's like 5'1".
Yeah, they're all like compact, like Japanese car size.
How many Sailor Guardians can you fit in your hatchback?
Yep.
And this is when she's basically talking about, but I got people that love me, rah rah rah, you're so lonely. I've got people that love me, and she's like, fucking lol, oi, you come here. She's not even into the kiss. She's just kissing him. Well,
he's kissing her.
Yeah, he's getting her.
She's standing there and making him kiss her.
Yeah,
and not even enjoying it. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make your man kiss me, and I'm not even gonna like it."
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird way of cucking Sailor Moon.
Yeah, it really is.
But what if like the next panel, Sailor Moon's like, "Oh, what is this feeling? Like, do I like this? Am I into this?" And Galaxia's like, "No, that wasn't. No, God." Ew.
And here we go.
Step on me, mummy. Yeah, sure. Fucking boz.
Oh,
look at that pointed toe.
Yes,
the technique.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say I really dislike how much they make Tuxedo Mask grovel because he's so much stronger, but they just keep like even though it's a golem.
This is the third time he's been like taken over.
Yeah. Yep. Redundancy is usually bad in most cases. And again, when it comes to Tuxedo Mask, because you're just abusing the poor guy at this point.
He gets it pretty bad, but he gets a lot of highs as well. And they start their Dragon Ball Z style fight. Look at Chibi there. Yeah, the Cosmos as well. So they keep going at it, fucking Dragon Ball Z style.
Rini's yelling from the sidelines, like that cracks me up. She's just like, "You can do it, Sailor Moon!" It's like, get in there, do something.
Oh, fuck that! And she's like, "I'm not gonna help you, fuck that." But I hope you're all right.
I hope you're good. Because if you're not, then I'm gonna have to fight her, and that's gonna be a quick fight.
They end up on top of each other, minus the jelly wrestling. But now this part really stood out to me.
Of course, it did.
Oh, I mean, come on, it's right there. It's like, not just me. I'm the only one.
She just reaches out and just licks her nose. She's like, That's what I would do as an agent of chaos, because even though I know she would murder me after that, it would be worth it.
Get a boop in on her.
You got booped. Now what?
You done got booped. You're the master of the galaxy, but like you got booped. So how big and bad are you?
And this brings us to the cauldron.
Yeah.
This is where all the stars are born. Basically, what does she call it? The stars' holy land.
Holy land.
Fuck, Sailor Moon really is like dumb, isn't she?
She's the reason that we have she's the reason we have so much exposition in entertainment today, like where they have to spell out everything that's going on screen for you.
Oh my god, I thought you said she's a dom.
Oh no, Galaxia is a dom.
Galaxia is the dom, not Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is sub all the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
no debate.
Dumb. Okay.
Yeah, dumb, silly. Yeah. What did you think of the fight, Lady G?
So I think that it was actually beautifully. This is actually one of the most beautifully drawn fights. Like just when you get the different angles and perspectives, and like right here, like the stars. The details that go them. Yeah, like it's just incredible. It's one of the most beautifully drawn fights, which, considering it's also one of the most brutal, is a really interesting dynamic to have that sort of that artistic beauty there, and then but it literally be coming at you in the form of like death and chaos. It's really quite the contradiction, I guess.
I like it when she destroys the crystals right in front of her. And then she's like, oh, does that mean my friends are like gone forever?
Yeah.
And they do this weird background tracing silhouette of her. Look at this look on her face. This is utter defeat.
Yep.
And that's another thing I think the anime did a little bit better, was there's so many times in the anime where you're like, fuck, is Galaxia actually going to win? So every time they have a plan, it just doesn't work. And then you see Sailor Moon like break down like fucking a dozen times in the last 10 episodes.
And the thing is, like, it's not even like the plan works a little bit. It's not like they get a foot up on the rung. It doesn't work at all. And that's really not common, especially because Amy is the one usually coming up with the plans. And she doesn't get this stuff wrong.
And then she tells Tuxedo Mars, because she's still controlling him. She's like, just jump off the edge. Fuck it.
Yep.
And he does it because he's still being mind controlled as well.
Mama Chan.
Chibiusa is like, oh no, I can't hit on my dad anymore. Life sucks, I guess. Galaxia's all like, fuck yeah. And I think this is where we meet Chaos. Yep. Where Chaos comes into the scene. There's a part coming up. There he is. They do this quite a bit.
Yeah.
In the they have like a silhouette in the sky.
Pretty
freaky looking thing. Oh, sorry, thing's still on there.
It's the horror elements in Sailor Moon, especially the manga. They're really outstanding. Yeah,
like shit like this. Like none of this type of stuff was in the anime.
No.
Because then you lose that tsunami slot.
Amanda, when you did the voice work for all of this, like which do you have a favorite season that you dubbed?
I mean, it was all fun. I didn't have as many lines in Stars, but I enjoyed doing Stars just because it was so cool to be like, we're dubbing the undubbable season. So
very cool. Very cool.
But I still haven't actually seen it.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't send us like copies of stuff, so I think it might be on Hulu now, but it wasn't for a while, so I can finally go and watch my own stuff.
There you go.
Oh wow.
That'll
so you watch your character get killed off.
Yeah.
Brutally.
What's that like? Like when you're voicing someone or doing a character and they were like, hey, yeah, we're ending your character today.
That was actually really hard. Well, it wasn't so much ending the character because I knew that, I was in all 5 seasons, but they didn't tell me on my last session that it was going to be my last session. So I'm like coming to the studio, like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. They're like, oh, and I don't even think they told me until the end. So it's literally like I'm doing my session, and then we get to the end of the session time, and they're like, all right, well, that's a wrap for Sailor Jupiter. I was like, wait, like for like the day? They're like, no, like forever. Like it's the end of the season or end of the series. And I was like, oh my God. Like, because we had done like 200 episodes of classic, and we had done 3 seasons of Crystal, and we were doing the movies. Like it was just like, you don't just drop that on somebody. You probably should let them know, hey, today's gonna be your last day of recording, so you can get emotionally prepared for it. We've been working on it for several years.
I mean, I guess that's a way to rip off a Band-Aid. I don't know. Like,
yes, I would have much rather have known beforehand, so it wasn't just
right?
like you guys just started crying. They're like,
Sudden,
oh no.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. Yeah, so joke's on them.
Joke's on them.
Chibi comes in and actually starts talking and says, hey, we got to destroy the cauldron, stop all creation going forward. Is that really any less fucked up than what Galaxia is doing?
No, but since it's Galaxia, I'm still maintaining that is Galaxia's starseed. So no, it's not. But because it's a part of a Galaxia, it makes sense that she would do that.
What if it's not though?
Like, well, even if it's not, like, then that just means that Chibi is literally as psychotic as Galaxia, because you can't kill billions of people and not be not be psychotic.
Right.
Lethal
got really quiet there for a second. Maybe he disagrees.
What if?
You're like, just hear me out. Just hear me out.
Well, it was only 3%, Lady G.
There's only 3% in there.
That's pretty cool, that.
Yeah.
And this is like Galaxia starting to realize, we're all fucked now. My whole plan's come undone. Now we're all going to die. And, this is when she's thinking of listening to what Chibi says and goes, maybe I should take the scythe and just swing it down on everyone and just end all of existence as well. This is a pretty interesting drawing of Galaxia. This is like the first time you actually see her being like, uh-oh.
Well, see, because this is interesting because, you know, this is Serena being presented with this choice. Because if Galaxia had been given this choice, I have no doubt Galaxia would have taken the scythe, and she would have, like, in order to, you know, stop the evil, she would have destroyed creation, right? Which is very circular and destructive way of thinking. But so it's very much, you're supposed to see the dichotomy between Sailor Moon and Galaxia. Like, this is what Galaxia would have done. This isn't what Serena or Sailor Moon does. This isn't what Princess Serenity does. You know, she finds that other way so that evil does not win.
Yeah, I think Galaxia is starting to see that going, fuck. I wish I had more people like you around me when this was all going down. Wouldn't have had to go through all this bullshit. And then she gets killed. Killed off by Chaos.
Oh, that's very different than the anime.
Oh yeah. She's the last one. Well, she lives in the anime.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just like, oh, we forgive you because you're pretty on the inside.
You're pretty on and the outside.
Yeah. You a hottie. You a grade A hottie. Regulation hottie.
But nope, not on this one. She gets
incinerate. Like, yeah, she gets dusted. Like, that's just that's particles flying through the air right now.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool as she goes like, Sailor Moon, I finally found it. I found my star. Those are like her last words. She's happy for like one little bit of moment. She's like, oh, okay, I can be happy again. And then she's fucking dead because, too late. And then we get Sailor Cosmos. So who do you think Sailor Cosmos is? Because I've got a theory.
What's your theory?
Mom.
It's me.
I think she's just a different version of Usagi. Because there's a lot of reincarnations and different timelines. So we got like our main one that we're going through the story with. I guess you'd call her like Starseed one. But before her, you had her living on the moon,
Mm-hmm.
which is a different version of her, and you've also got 30th century version of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Cosmos is from a different timeline.
I don't think. Oh, sorry.
I've got a bit more evidence because Chibi says to Sailor Moon, if you don't destroy the cauldron right now, it's just going to be a constant cycle of death. And then when Sailor Cosmos arrives, she goes, hey, I was in the same opportunity that you had, and I didn't take it. I didn't destroy the cauldron. And Chibi was right. It was just a constant cycle of death and destruction. So that's why I think it's a different version of Usagi. And I mean, it kind of looks like her.
I mean, to be fair, everybody's drawn the same. They just have different hair.
Yeah, Chibi looks a lot like Chibiusa.
Mm-hmm.
But I went looking for it, and it's never outright said.
Mm-mm.
There's no like definitive full stop. This is who it is. And I was looking for something this morning, just a whole lot of theories and stuff. I didn't really want to look too much into theories because I was happy with mine.
Hey, as long as you're happy with it, I think
this is what happens when she didn't go along with it. It's just destruction.
Well, I mean, death is a part of life.
Yeah, and they say that a few pages back, that it's all part of it. Like, you can't be happy and never be sad.
Yep.
That's the best emotion, is bittersweet.
Mm.
I don't know. It's weird. It makes me feel more alive than feeling full joy, because bittersweet is this feeling of like, oh yeah, I definitely know I'm alive because I'm feeling all of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you're feeling the entirety of the good and the entirety of the bad, and you're just holding both. I don't know.
It's all about balance.
Mm-hmm.
I think I sort of agree with you, Lethal, but I think actually what Sailor Cosmos is she's either after Neo Queen Serenity, gives up the mantle and Chibiusa takes over, right? Or
I'd give up too then.
Or she is the reason that Serena and Darien live forever. Like she's why they are able to be immortal. She's the in-between of Sailor Moon and Neo Queen Serenity, essentially. Those would be my theories.
Yeah. Fair cool. Are you, Amanda? Do you have any guess?
I'm sticking with your mom.
I like it. Solid.
It was my gut answer, and I think it's probably right.
Is it possible to get like a retcon in the next movie where they just come out and say, yeah, it was your mom?
Like this whole time it was your mom.
And it actually be her mom, like her Earth mom.
Yeah.
With
the apron and everything. And she's like, hi guys, I baked some brownies.
It was me all along.
All along. Oh, dude, that would be a trip.
Oh, shit. Sorry, my phone's ringing. 1 sec.
Yeah, don't you have to...
Yeah.
Oh. Did Lady Gravemaster just fall out? Am I?
Oh my gosh, I bumped my back button. And
I was like, and then Lethal went to go grab the phone. So I'm like, for a second, I was in charge of the chat and I did nothing. I was like,
oh, this is why Amanda can't have power.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you can't give me unbridled power. I'm considering doing my own stream on my Daywalker comedy channel. I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna be monetized, basically. YouTube's gonna know me by my first name. They're gonna be sending me those warnings like, girl, you don't stop. And I'll be like, I can't stop.
It is not okay. But we got to try and I know Lethal's got to go soon. And I feel really bad because I did not even think about the fact that, like, he's got other stuff to do. But.
Yeah. What are you on the West Coast?
Me, I'm in the middle of the country.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's like 1 o'clock where I am. I'm like, what you doing?
Mountain time. Mountain time is superior.
Okay.
It was Papa Bear. Did you just knock yourself out of the stream before?
I did.
She said, I was like,
you were like, oh, and I like moved my mouse really quick to try and like make my clock pop up, and I hit my mouse. So it's it's one of the, hang on. It's one of the Corsair gaming ones, and so like you've got those side buttons, and if you bump them, it jumps you back a page. And yeah, I bumped the ever loving piss out of it. But so
we're pretty much at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have told you earlier. My dad's gonna pick up my dad.
Well, I don't think we were planning on going for 3.5 hours either, but Amanda is just so infectious that we had to.
How long do you normally go?
Like 2 hours.
Okay.
I think our longest one was, well, I think Lethal and I can also chalk up the time to us getting into that debate. I think our longest one was when we got, I think it was 4.5 hours, Lethal, because you and I kept fighting.
Yeah, we fight a lot.
He's slowly been trying. He's like, but Galaxia is the best villain, and I'm like, no, it's Beryl. Like, so we've had this Beryl versus Galaxia fight quite a bit
for a long time.
Time. We meet in the middle for the sake of peace because we don't want to wipe out 3% of the entire universe.
Speak
Right.
for yourself.
But
so do you not normally go off on, like, is it usually just Sailor Moon, or do we, like, because I feel bad. I'm like, we took it to grapefruits, we took it to
we don't tangent that far generally, but I tangent. I'm a terrible
grapefruit
tangenter.
Guns, like we went all over the place.
We did. Nah, tangents happen.
We tangent a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot.
I'm like, I tangent, but I'm like, I want to make sure I didn't derail your stream and lose you
subscribers.
You know what tangent is? You should see when her husband comes on stream. That was
They all lost their ever-loving minds, Amanda. Like,
the whole chat turned gay. 98% of my channel audience is male. It was on my channel, and the whole chat went fucking gay when he came on.
Is he just like his hair's blowing in the wind? He's like Tuxedo Mask.
Not quite. So he came on mic.
See, that
so
guy was still gay from it. I see you.
he was so we were doing, it was myself, Lethal, Epic Mike, who I like to call Big Mike, and Disparu, and we're all talking, and I was talking about like masculinity and how we need, like, you know, deep voices, like what happened to like the mountain men and stuff like that. And then Mike was talking about like my husband and stuff. Well, my husband's in the background and they can kind of hear him, but not really. And so I was like, come here really quick. Because I talked about how my husband has like a really deep voice. And so Disparu, like all he said, my husband said hello, and Disparu was like, oh my God, can you have him do the Hulk line where they say puny God? And I was like, so I asked him, and so he got on the mic and he said puny God, and like Lethal jumped out of his chair, Disparu melted out of his chair, and Epic Mike was just like stunned, and the whole chat lost their minds. I was like, my God, you guys are ridiculous. But yeah, it was pretty funny. So yes, we tangent quite a bit, but no, this was exceptionally good. I really appreciate it, Amanda, for sure.
All right, so long story short, after all that, Sailor Moon pulls the dub out, of course, defeats Chaos. Chaos doesn't actually die though. It just goes back, and they say like, hey, there's a good chance it will come back at some stage. Galaxia stays dead.
Yeah.
And she gets all her friends back, and it ends with them getting married.
Getting it on.
And I think the anime ending's actually better.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it, so
I've seen like clips of it, and I've seen like the Japanese. I just haven't seen like our version or the dub. But
okay.
So like, aren't they all just like floating in heaven or something?
It's here it is. I think it's way better, the anime ending. It's got them kissing with the moon in the background.
Yeah.
She says her name. She's like, I am Sailor Moon.
And it's all like, never forget like the power of love and friendship and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then the old theme song plays, because this season they have it's the only season where they have a different song playing.
Yeah.
And then you get the rose petals, and then outro.
Yeah, and the very last thing is the feather.
Mm-hmm.
That is not
the dick-shaped feather.
Oh my God, it's not. It is
now,
not.
Is this an Easter egg to
it's all the groomers in Japan are also, it's like Disney. They're all in cahoots. They're just drawing dicks on our kids' shows. Cancel Sailor Moon now, 20 years later. It's a dick.
But then I also thought it looked like an acorn. And then I was like,
It's
it kind of looks. It looks like it looks like one of those. Like, have you ever had those frozen chocolate dipped bananas?
Oh yes, those
like
are so good.
That's what it looked like to me. I'm not like, Dick was so far from
really
that.
Yes.
Oh, fucking what are you saying?
Chocolate dipped banana look. No, their chocolate dipped bananas don't have the little like weird balls at the end. Like they're just on a stick.
But the stick has.
I would have accepted tampon, but it's
like
definitely a dick.
Yeah, tampon I could have accepted too.
But like the chocolate dipped bananas have like the cup at the bottom to catch the like when the chocolate starts to melt.
Not mine, because I'm not a little bitch.
All right.
Yeah, I just raw dog my chocolate bananas. I'm just like free hand.
Mama didn't raise no quitter.
Yeah.
Oy vey. All right. Good times. Good times. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, so I know Lethal, I know you have to bounce. So we'll do outros really quick. Do you like
Hold on, what would you rate this volume?
Oh gosh, I mean it's the final volume. Honestly, I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5. Because
8.5?
Yeah, the art is fantastic. The arcs are amazing. You get that satisfactory, very like they've overcome this, they're happy. And like the thing is, we've seen the glimpses of their future, so we know that now that they're getting married, they're gonna go on to rule Crystal Tokyo, and there's gonna be peace and prosperity and all of this joy. So you get that inferred eternity of happiness, but also the fact that because it, especially in this particular in Stars, there was a time where you actually wondered if Serena would remain with Mama-chan. Like you were literally like she could actually call it quits. So the stakes, I would have to say the stakes in Stars are much higher than RS or Super S, quite frankly.
Oh,
that would be funny if you had to contrarian, like if I was Usagi and somebody told me, oh, this is the guy you're destined to marry, I would automatically like, I don't want to do it now. Like the whole fate of the universe would fall apart because I just can't just go along to get along. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it because you're making me do it because we're destined to be together. So the show would end in chaos.
Well, thank you, Ryan and Noah. You guys are amazing.
Now, for someone who, in your own words, didn't do the homework, what do you think of the end, Amanda?
I liked it. I mean, again, I right before I came on, I was like, guys, I forgot we were supposed to read the manga. I thought we were just talking about Sailor Moon, like the show. So they've been covering for me very well. But yeah, I hadn't but yeah, no, I mean, the stuff you were showing me looked good. I mean, I've been meaning to go back and reread the manga anyway, because I never finished it. And I was reading it back in the day when it was like was it Mix or whatever, the original distributors. I guess they hadn't gotten to Stars yet or something like that when I was reading it. So yeah, I'm excited because also like Sailor Moon Supers, I always said Super S, but they told me it was
I call it Super S too.
I call it Super S.
I call it Super S, but the Viz team was like, it's Supers. I'm like, that sounds kind of gay. Supers. Anyway, yeah, so I never really cared for Super S in the anime, but everybody tells me, oh, the manga is so dark, and so like I'm excited.
Lethal and I have that is mine and Lethal's opinion of Super S as well. Mm-hmm. Is it not, Lethal?
Yep, it's the worst anime, but one of the better mangas in the series.
Yeah, the anime, they kind of made it more like for kids. They're like, it's like all about Chibiusa and Helios, and it's like, ugh.
No, the manga is much better.
I'm not going to get you guys demonetized, but there's a joke in there earlier when we were joking about horses and joking about like why she there's a sketch there's a show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave, and it's a sketch comedy show, and I think there's one called like Fenway Farms or something. Look it up. It's funny. It's about like a horse farm where they breed the horses specifically to have tiny penises so it doesn't make the male riders feel insecure.
I think I saw someone pop up, it was like bro science or some shit, and they're talking about the average weight of a horse and the average weight of the horse, and the average length of its penis. And they did like the math statistically, and it worked out. In order for a dude to be hung like a horse, they only have to be like 4 inches.
What?
Because of we weigh a lot less than a horse.
Wait, so they're saying proportionately to be hung like one?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm like horse. No, I've seen horses pee. Like I used to work on a horse farm. Like no.
Okay, we're doing that percentage. We're doing that percentage thing again. It's only 3%. It only needs to be 4 inches.
Yeah.
So
it's only 3%.
For all my smaller brothers out there, you're all right.
You're all right.
Don't listen to her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. You're good.
You are hung like a horse.
You are hung like a horse. A male horse, that is.
Lethal, what do you rate this out of 10?
I give it a 9. I really like it.
Okay.
I think anime Galaxia is better. I think the ending to the anime is better as well. I think that the anime also does a better job of showing the type of rampage that Galaxia has been on, both in outer space and on Earth, especially those last 5 episodes. They're just crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't like in the anime how Uranus and Neptune are traitors right at the end.
Yeah.
They kill Pluto and Saturn in order to join Galaxia, so that way they can get close to a Galaxia and attempt to assassinate her, which doesn't work because Galaxia just one-shots them down. I felt that was a bit whack. I think it was better here.
Yeah.
But everything else, I think the manga does a bit better, and I'm actually looking forward to the movie or movies next year to see because Crystal, the whole thing of Crystal was it was always closer to the manga, so I'm looking forward to seeing that on screen as well. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 overall. Solid ending.
Yes, very solid ending for sure. Absolutely. So, so what is that? So that's a total. That's 17.5 out of 20. Not bad. And then we'll throw in Amanda for extra credit. If you had to give it, from what you saw, Amanda, if you had to rate it out of 10.
I'll say 10 too, because I have nothing to counter it. Be like, oh, I didn't like the way this panel was drawn or whatever. I liked the emo Hot Topic Sailor Moon. I liked all the pretty flowy hair. I liked the sassy poses. And
there you go. All right. Well, so I know that, so we've been going for quite a while. Appreciate everybody who's still here and both of you for being here the whole time. But so Amanda, we'll start with you. So where can people find you? How can they check you out, see your stuff? What cons are you going to be at?
Okay, so next weekend, what is the dates? Like the August 20, whatever the last weekend of August
28.
is. Yeah, the 20, yeah, like the 26th to the 28th, I believe. Yeah. Whatever, somewhere in there. I'll be at CreepyCon in Knoxville, which is funny because it's a horror convention, not an anime convention.
Fuck yeah!
Nice.
But they were like, "Well, you live in the area, so you can just drive over and have a table." And I do have another channel. I haven't worked on it in years, but I'm about to kick it back up. So it's called Ghosts and Stuff Inc. And it was like a web series I did, and I'm hoping eventually to raise money to finish it. But I also have a bunch of other stuff I want to do. I want to do supernatural live streams and just goof around and talk about ghosts with my friends, but also do some scripted content. So check out Ghosts and Stuff Inc. I'm also at Daywalker Comedy. So subscribe to my YouTube if you like my weird problematic sense of humor. I do sketches and stuff, and I'm also going to probably be starting to do a live stream. I'm thinking Saturday nights. Just
what type of streams are you going to do?
I was thinking, I have a couple different ideas. Like, I kind of like the idea of like a weekly roundup, like a talk show kind of thing, where it's like, we talk about what happened that week. But honestly, I'm kind of bored by politics now. So I think it might just be like ridiculous shit that happened that week, talking about that, like, hypotheticals, going over like Reddit stuff where it's like, like we're having guests on and asking people like, what would you do in this situation? Just kind of like just chatting with people. I'm tired of people fighting each other.
Not to insert myself, but that type of stuff is right up my alley.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I want to have all of my friends on there, so it'll be a nice, like, it'll just be a fun, like, hangout thing. We'll make jokes, and I don't know. I'm gonna unite the world with perverted comedy. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And then Amanda C. Miller VO. Nope, over here. Okay. Amanda C. Miller VO is my like anime channel or whatever accounts, Instagram, Twitter, and you can follow me there to find out where like my next cons are going to be, what projects I'm in. Yeah, all that stuff.
And I'll make sure that I get all the correct I'll get all the correct links from you, and they'll be in the description below too. So you can find
also Weebs and Waifus on Thursday nights. So Geeks and Gamers has a spin-off channel for anime specifically called Weebs and Waifus. We just hit 2K. We're like making our way up, and so we have a stream every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time that I'm also on, and we have erotic fan fiction apparently being written about us. So I'm excited for that.
Nice. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on and being here. This was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. We really do appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Much. Yeah, really, truly, truly do. So,
I gotta do it. Can we get a Jupiter power makeup?
Okay, makeup. No. Jupiter power makeup.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Lethal's like Lethal's manga is gonna be sticky now. It's gonna be like
it doesn't come back as sticky as it was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm glad Lethal asked, because if he hadn't, I wasn't going
again,
to.
This was Amanda's idea. Honestly, it really was.
What? To have me say the line or
no?
I was like, I didn't.
It's your idea for everything, Amanda.
Yeah.
Everything was your idea.
Actually, the way it went down was she got mad that I never asked her. She was like, "You doing fucking Sailor Moon stream? You haven't invited me, motherfucker." What's up with that?
I was like, what's your fucking problem? Do you really want to piss off Amanda Chaos Miller? I don't think so.
There you go.
I don't think you do.
Oh, bae. All right, Lethal, you want to do your outro really quick? Where can they find you? Where can they track you down?
Oh, dude, you wouldn't believe it if I told you, but I'm back on Twitter. Third time's the charm. Third time's the charm. I'm under Daddy Lethal, so you'll find me there. I might make this image my profile picture just out of spite towards Lady G for a week or so.
Oh no.
You will find me. Oh shit! Tonight we have Full Aussie, the Australian stream where we do, which is even more perverted than half the shit Amanda said tonight. Believe it or not. So that should be pretty fun. And I'm on Twitch Monday through Friday normally, and I make videos for Geeks and Games Play, the video game channel. That's all I do: play video games, read Sailor Moon, get my manga sticky, and watch anime and play video games. So yeah, thank you. But a huge shout out to the chat for coming, and thank you, Lady G, for keeping this series going over here. And again, a really, really, really big thank you to Amanda. Humbled.
Yes, truly humbled, internally grateful. Thank you so much, Amanda. It means so much. Yeah. Like can't even put into words how grateful and humbling this is.
All right. Tone it down, you two.
It's been so weird though, because so we did a stream where we just talked about how we got into Sailor Moon and why we like it and all that before we even started reviewing the manga.
Yeah.
And on that stream, it was like, who's your favorite Guardian? We both said Sailor Jupiter. So what's your favorite movie? We both said R. Yeah. So yeah, we've been flying the Sailor Jupiter flag. And they were like, "Oi, let's get Sailor Jupiter on."
Nice.
There you go. And yes, oh man, it's surreal to think of. But we do, and we actually did, was it last stream, Lethal, or the one before, where we're like, Sailor Mercury really just doesn't get enough love. Like,
we've been saying it since the start. Mercury carries the team.
Like, so many times they would be dead or have flunked out of school and not been able to show themselves in Japanese society without Mercury. So listen, Maza,
I was
we're
like,
gonna fight.
He's throwing hands.
He is throwing hands, and I will throw them back. But chat, you guys were absolutely amazing and incredible tonight. I really appreciate every single one of you. So much love. And the fact that you guys show up to my tiny little channel so that we can have this kind of fun, it really does mean a lot. And hopefully, Amanda, you're welcome back anytime if you want to talk Sailor Moon. We'll have another Sailor Moon stream. We've got several down the road because we're going to start talking about the anime and the movies and the music and like the merchandise and everything like that. So we've got years worth of Sailor Moon to talk about.
Man, Milla's like, fuck.
I know, right? She's like, dang it. But yeah, no, anytime if you're free, if you want to, like, no pressure whatsoever, but you are welcome to come back and talk Sailor Moon anytime. And it's an open invitation, but thank you so much for being here. It really does mean a lot. And yeah.
You're welcome. And you're welcome for teaching about what grapefruiting is. I think that was really my legacy that I'll leave behind.
Truly educational. I think we all are going to appreciate that forever. It's never going to go away.
You're welcome for getting. Was that the first warning you've gotten from YouTube?
Yes.
What did it actually say?
So it just says,
stop it.
It says that it has come to our attention that you have displayed content which may not be in line with YouTube's terms of service.
And why is it on YouTube with 1 million views?
I don't know. But yeah, well, it's just like the naked yoga doesn't get taken down, but if you show the naked yoga on your channel to talk about it, you get hit for it.
Yep, this is true.
Yes.
This is true. Can confirm.
So
last night I looked up the Al Pacino movie Heat.
Yeah.
I needed to get the clip where he goes, "She's got a great ass." I needed that clip. So I typed in that, right? And underneath that clip was naked body painting, women walking around naked at the beach. I'm like, okay, this is all like softcore porn, but righto.
Like, alrighty then. But yeah, chat, you guys are amazing as always. You're the best part of this whole thing. Love you to pieces. Can't say that enough. And we will definitely be back. I have got a whole bunch of stuff going on currently, but I should be back with Nostalgic Nirvana next Thursday, and hopefully like 1 or 2 videos out next week, so that you guys don't think that I've like just ghosted and disappeared. I'm still here, but we got a lot going on in real world, in real life. So but I appreciate all your guys' patience and understanding with all of that. And on that note, if nobody else has anything to add, we can do our Sailor Moon outro and let the chat go get some sleep or start their day, or go pick up their dad. So
let's go.
Let's go. All right. Much love, everybody. You guys are amazing. And if you need anything, just like if you guys want us to talk about something specific to Sailor Moon, just let us know and we will give it a try. But thank you, everybody. Much love.
And the name of the moon? End it.
Fighting evil by moonlight,
winning love by day,
never running from
a real fight.
Is the one named Sailor Moon. She will
Never turn her back on a friend.
She is always there to defend. She is the one on whom we can depend. She is the one named Sailor.
Sailor Venus, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Mars, Sailor Jupiter,
the best one.
Secret powers also known to her. She's the one named Sailor Moon.
Fighting evil by moonlight. one named Sailor Moon.